told everyone about that yet.
Bro, I can't believe I did that. I can't share that yet, but
You're gonna have to let everyone know.
I know, but we are live. Welcome back to Memes and Markets. We're here with Keith and our awesome guest, Dan. Keith, how you doing?
Today's the best day of my life. Ben, how you doing?
Today's the best day of my life too, man. We got Dan in the house with us, so I'll throw it over to you, Dan. Give us the quick 1-2 minute intro, who you are, what you do, and what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Dan Whitmer. I run a company called Jump Rope Dudes, which is a jump rope fitness company focused on like short 30-minute workouts that you can do from home with a jump rope in your body. Primarily, we market through YouTube. So I would say, I refer to myself as a YouTuber. I think that's like the primary title that I would give myself. I've been doing it little over 10 years, almost like coming up on like 11, 12 years doing that, and live in Los Angeles, California. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, moved out here, and excited to be on the show. Like I said before, I've seen the show before. I follow you guys, and just really excited for the opportunity. So pumped.
Yeah, man. So I came across your second channel, your kind of personal channel, and the title reached out to me. It was like, I'm a 37-year-old man-child. Like, here's how I make money. I clicked on it, and I was like, wait a minute. I've definitely seen this guy before. And then I realized that you're the one who's been doing the Jump Rope Dudes. And I was like, oh, I've definitely watched some of that content as well. So, yeah, dude, it's a huge pleasure to have you. And that title of the 37-year-old man-child is something that also speaks to me, to my core. A lot of my life, I've thought about, like, how do I find a way to do things in my life that allow me to maintain that youthful energy? And allows me, in my words, I would say, to stay living like a kid in some ways.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that mindset, or like, what does that really mean to you, being a man?
Yeah, man. First of all, it's awesome that you connected with that, because I think the stuff that I said in that video was really, like, on one hand, my Jump Rope Dudes thing is me, like, it's, my authentic self, but like, it's still a business. Whereas, like, I wanted to create a channel where I was like, there's a bunch of other stuff that I have to say that I feel like I want to use as kind of a diary. So the idea behind the man-child video was more just like me being like, I feel like this is kind of my place that I've created for myself in the world. And I wonder if anyone else can relate to it, because I think, how old are you guys? Like like 30s, early 30s?
I'm freshly 30, and Keith's how exactly?
Freshly 27.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I feel like even, I feel like when all of us were younger, we had a little bit more of an image of like, this is what my life is going to be like, the whole go to college, get a job, like things were kind of laid out. And I feel like I've created a really, fun and exciting life for myself, but I've found myself being like, man, I'm 37 and like, I still feel exactly like I do when I was 17. And I think also a big part of my brand is about like, don't let that kid die. Like, I'm a big believer in, like, I think that, whatever you want to call it, society, the man does a really good job of trying to get us to be adults and be like, okay, now that you're past this age, you have to be serious. And I think what I'm trying to show people is like, I'm a pretty silly guy, and I want to make a stand for, like, you don't have to be this serious adult person who says these things and does these things in order to make a good living that you feel proud about. And so that was kind of why I made the video of like, this is how I feel in the world. I feel like I, in some ways, have figured out certain things in my life, but in a lot of other ways, I still feel like that young kid. And I just wanted to put it out there to see if people could relate. And I got a decent amount of comments back, which really helped me to, just feel this is something that should be talked about, and the stuff that I am thinking about, I should just put it out there.
100%, man. No, I love it. Actually, I scrolled back to my older videos on YouTube because I had one that was literally titled "Be a Kid Again," in the right
Yes.
corner there. So for like literally, we were all on the same wavelength for a very long time, and I think that that's such a good lesson for everything in life, because when something feels like play, it just gives you a cheat code. Like you are able to do stuff that most people aren't willing to do because of their relationship to the activity, which is obviously what's brought you a ton of success in life and on YouTube, especially because YouTube can be a grind, man. So can you talk to like why you decided to start YouTube in the first place?
Yeah, I feel that it was a combination of this yearning to get, I was in a more corporate environment. I used to do tech sales when I was like right out of college. And so it wasn't like super corporate, like banking attire, but it was still like, in the office, dressed up, living that kind of corporate environment. And at the time I wanted to get out of what I was doing. And I also was starting to watch a lot of YouTube and noticed that no one was talking about jump rope on YouTube. So
Got it.
I didn't think much of it, but I thought like, okay, I see a little bit of an opportunity where I feel like I have this dream that I want to follow. And I also see that there's not a whole lot of people putting a lot of intention into this platform that you can basically make your own TV channel. So I started making videos on there. So actually it's just kind of an experiment. Like I wasn't even thinking to start a business or do anything after that. And once I actually ended up losing a bunch of weight jumping rope. And I think all of these things, me wanting to leave, me losing the weight, me discovering YouTube and seeing that there wasn't a lot of people talking about jump rope, as soon as those things came together, that was when I really got into YouTube, and then also found this community of people who were doing a bunch of weird stuff that I was super into, and was like, wow, there's this whole community of people that are, leaving their jobs or starting their own, television network about cooking, about fitness, about sewing, about cars, whatever it may be. And I think that was like the catalyst for me wanting to dive in further. And then once I started getting a few, I'd say like over 2,000 subscribers, that was when I was like, okay, maybe I could do something more with this. Like maybe this is a way to make an income. But it was still so early that I didn't really have that in mind.
And what year around was it when you started?
2000 I actually made a YouTube channel, not Jump Rope Dudes, but it was a jump rope channel in 2013.
Okay.
And I started I think the catalyst that really got things going was I made a video reviewing a specific jump rope, which is now that company has been my partner for the past decade. I made a video reviewing this jump rope. And then the CEO reached out to me and was like, hey, I really liked your review. I could send you some ropes. And that's when it kind of clicked for me of like, oh, okay, this is a new income stream. Like what else could I do with this? And then it started to kind of move on from there.
Yeah, it evolves, right? Like I think following curiosity is one of the biggest things. I always knew that I wanted to do YouTube, and for me, it was the catalyst was when I tore my ACL, and I saw the same sort of thing, that there was a lack of supply for videos in that specific need. And so in doing that, those were my first ever videos, and yeah, it just snowballs from there because it's such a great traffic source as well. Like on like a business side, is that I'm sure some of those videos that you made like 10 years ago, they probably still get views to this day.
I think the one that it wasn't me, it was my former business partner. One of the videos that he was like the main person in is like still our main video. Like it still collects the most views every day. It's crazy. Yeah.
Dan, how did you start to evolve this whole thing into a business, right? So you had somebody who reached out, said, hey, you can review this for us. And you're like, oh, okay, there's an economic opportunity with this. How did that continue to evolve?
So I had started my own YouTube channel on jump rope, which was doing okay. I was still working at my old job, but it was doing like short, intense workouts. I met my business partner in Austin, Texas, and that's when we decided, okay, now that there's two of us, let's like play up this whole like, you know, we kind of look the same, we're the same height. Let's like be this like superhero team. And that's when it was like I had money saved up from my corporate job and was like, and that's the other thing. I think people, I want people to know, like there was a lot of like stupidity and blind faith that went into this. Like I wasn't like super calculated, like I know what I'm doing and I'm gonna start this and we're gonna progress. It was very much, I just thought it was cool. And I thought it was like part of my like life story to be like, screw it, I'm gonna take a chance. This guy's on board. We have some money saved up. Let's just see what we can do. So I feel like once we both made that decision and I quit my job, then it was just like financially like, oh shit, like we have to do this now. But that really helped us move forward fast and like make a lot of videos, started growing the channel. That's when things really started to move forward. But even at the beginning, I mean, it took us 1.5 years to get 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So it was still like the beginning was, you know, we almost ran out of money the first 2 years. So there was some, you know, definite ups and downs at the start for sure.
That's the hardest part for social media, is that initial just yelling into the void and not hearing anything back for quite a while. Cause it does, even to this day, they say, oh, followers don't matter, but they kind of matter in terms of your ability to get things to people. Like they certainly do play a role. And basically what I was saying to Keith, like when we first started, a lot of the stuff was like, you basically have to work like twice as hard or be twice as good to get the same sort of pop if you don't have followers. So you still can get views and stuff like that, but it's just a lot more effort and work. So you guys were grinding on this for like 2-ish years. What was the business development off of it? When you're making these videos, how are you guys thinking, okay, well, how do we expand this into like an actual sustainable business?
Yep. The first thing was coaching, because it was the just lowest hanging fruit, you know,
Totally.
like fitness coaching. Like, hey, we'll help you, you know, with a meal plan. I'll give you some jump rope workouts. We'll hop on a call type thing. So trading time for money. I think the biggest, well, and you guys probably know, back in the day too, YouTube was paying a lot more in ad revenue.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I feel like we made 2 videos just simply doing the type in how to jump rope into the search bar, and then whatever came up after that. So I think it was like how to jump rope like a boxer and how to jump rope to lose weight. We made those 2 videos and went from like 5,000 subscribers to 30,000 in like 2 months. And then we got our first brand deal with the company that I had contacted before that I told you about. But then they were like, hey, okay, now we see some momentum, some motion. Let's formalize a deal. So that was, it was coaching. And then we had the jump rope deal. And then we started to do other smaller deals, which I don't really do anymore, but we were working with, what's that like Magic Spoon. We did like a little thing with Athletic Greens, like just little brand deals here and there.
Got it.
And then selling courses. It was like courses, coaching, and this jump rope.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they get into content, they always think that the money's going to come from AdSense or sponsors. And so it sounds like most of your guys' income came from completely different sources.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we viewed it immediately as, and I still view it to this day as, we were like trying to be like Tony Horton or Jillian Michaels, these like, or like Richard Simmons, like these fitness personalities. And that was the whole mindset of like, if we can create coaching and courses, then, you know, we could make like exercise DVDs and sell you know, tons of them basically.
Oh, 100%. And when you're doing something like that, I love when I sit down with people and I'm like, do the math. Okay. So if you're selling a product that's this much, okay, and how many people do you need to sell it to reach your goal income? And it's always so much more attainable than people realize.
Yes. Especially if you can get like 10, I think there's like an essay about this somewhere online, but if you can get 10 customers, you can definitely get 100. If you can get 100, you can definitely get 1,000. It's like the law of, like, if you can get people to sign up for your thing and believe in what you're doing, there's way more of those people out there.
Oh, without a doubt, especially with something that, like what you're doing, where you're actually improving somebody's life. People love to talk about that, which is such a good thing too, where if you guys are thinking about starting a business, most businesses are just solutions to existing problems, and people love to solve their own problems. And if you give them that, people will be your brand champion forever. And YouTube's the best for that because they know you, right? Like I'm sure there's a lot of people that like literally feel like they know you and they've only watched your videos.
Yeah. And that's something I really like to distinguish distinguish between, no, I'm like dedicated to YouTube. I love YouTube as a platform. When someone's like, oh, you're an influencer, I can't help but to be like, well, no, like I'm a YouTuber, because I do think there's a different interaction and relationship that you have with your viewers on a platform when you're making even a 5-minute video. They're seeing, you know, what you're about. They're seeing your mannerisms that you just can't get in a 15-second reel.
Totally. No, and I love that distinction because a lot of people do just say, oh, I'm a creator, I'm an influencer. But when TikTok really became very, very popular, that completely changed the game. And I do feel like there's a gap of like people who were creating on YouTube before versus after, because it was a completely different landscape. And it also changed the whole business model too. And I don't think for the better, because when YouTube was the main thing, there was depth, there was connection, and you kind of stayed a little more true to who you were serving, which the con is you can't experiment as much and still get views. But the pro was the fact that you didn't become crazy, right? Like a lot of people who are doing short form, just constantly chasing millions of views, they say some crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh man, guys, we're in idiocracy. I mean, we're like just the way YouTube was prior to shorts as compared to what it is now
different
is crazy. I think shorts have definitely, like you touched on this, which is we used to be so afraid of experimenting because what worked, and there was this idea of if you made a video that got 50,000 views and then you made a video that's let's say it's a promotional video of me selling a subscription, like just being like, hey guys, we released a new program, and posting that to YouTube, we would be told by people like, hey, if you post a video that's crushing it and then you post one that gets 2,000 views, it kills the views of your other video and like your channel could die. So there was this idea that if you made the wrong content, you could be penalized. So that wasn't good, but the benefit was everything you just said. There was this like loyalty, people who followed you actually came back for every video.
Totally.
Now the benefit is you can experiment. I feel like I can post anything I want and see if it works and try to, which makes me feel a lot more free, which I like as a creator. But the relationship side of it is a lot more difficult because of the shorts, and you don't know. I mean, there's just so many channels and attention is so spread far and wide that it does feel like our engagement used to match our subscriber count, whereas now it's all over the place.
Oh, it's such a mixed bag, and it's also just changed the consumption pattern so much, which like people will come in a one session and watch like 100 different people's videos, right?
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, there was such a stronger commitment to the statement of I'm going to watch this video, because you were only going to watch in a session, maybe let's say 3 or 4. Now you're involuntarily watching 100.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a completely different game. And that's why I still to this day, if anyone's going to try to become a creator, I think YouTube should be your focus from the beginning, because that longer form factor also makes it so that less people try. Because a lot of people, they'll just go pick up TikTok and they'll shoot the shit and they'll just try because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of risk there. But YouTube, it's a lot less saturated because of that.
That's so true. Yeah, and I've talked to so many people who've done really well on you know, a platform like TikTok or Instagram, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to start doing long form content, and they find out pretty quick, like, oh man, this is kind of a
different
grind.
game.
Yeah, way more that goes into it.
I've just started to experiment a little bit harder with the short form stuff, and I'm learning a lot from how just the interactions go. One of the most funny things, Dan, have you spent any time on Twitter?
Actually, no. I
probably good.
0 time. Yeah.
For your mental health, that's probably the right call.
Well, Keith, I want to hop in and just say I watched a short of yours, I think yesterday, on the Strait of Hormuz. And I was thinking in my head, the editing that he did to do this video, like there's so many little cuts. I'm like, man, this must have taken him like 2 hours to edit this short.
It takes a minute. I always knew that doing the short form stuff wouldn't necessarily be any easier, but I didn't know to what extent. Like it takes me the exact same amount of time, if not a little bit longer, potentially, to make the shorts versus my regular YouTube videos. And the worst part about that is that the people who are consuming the shorts are way more critical.
Yeah.
There's way less context, right, that I can provide in the short. And it's been super interesting to see how the different short form platforms, how they have different audiences and how they react to stuff. It's fascinating, man.
That is true because your main content is so raw. It's so like you're walking and you're taking a video. So I did wonder, like people really get to know you fast with that type of video.
Totally.
Versus I was kind of wondering what you thought about the short form stuff. You'll get criticism. And in my head, I'm thinking like, you don't even know me, or like you didn't watch the whole video, but I'm like, I can't be mad at this. This is what, of course, this person is going to make this judgment. They called me for 10 seconds and then clicked away, you know?
Totally. It's it's the nature of the game.
Yeah.
For sure. And so Dan, with you having the YouTube format, I've noticed also that I think you talked a little bit about this on the new channel. You felt like the jump rope dudes channel is like, this is the business side. This is where people come for jump roping and whatnot. But you had this other side of you that you wanted to continue to express. Did you experiment with some of that on the main channel and then realize, oh, I should probably take this somewhere else? Or how did that process go for you?
Yeah, I think at times I've posted vlogs or something like that where I've always kind of wanted to do like an Anthony Bourdain style like fitness traveling show where I'm just like, so I tried to put more of that on the main channel. And to be honest, the diehards were really into it, but most people were like, just give me jump rope workouts because that's what we've been doing. And I'm like, I'm one of those like, I feel like I was one of those angsty teens, like, I gotta like say what I gotta say, you know, I gotta. And so this second channel thing was like, I feel like I've expressed 50 or 60% of who I am through jump rope dudes. And that's been an outlet for me to be myself and also learn how to run a business. But I think there was this other side of me. And after doing jump rope dudes for 10 plus years, we've been through so many different phases. And I was just feeling like, I want to start something else, not necessarily to replace jump rope dudes, but just something that feels close to my heart and like, you know, is something that gets me to that 100% of myself, of, you know, where I can share 100% of myself, but that also could turn potentially into a whole new venture that I don't even really know what could happen. And as you guys know, and as I know from just being online, the best thing about social media is opportunities. Like sometimes you just put yourself out there and you have no idea what could come of it. So I'm a very big believer of like, man, I feel I have this thing I want to say. I should just say it and post it. And then who knows, maybe in 5 years, I mean, even Keith, the fact that we're having this conversation, like when I saw your email, I was just like, man, the universe is crazy. Like I've started watching this guy's videos and then I get this invite just because of, you know, putting yourself out there. So I think it was wanting to just having something else to say. And I think we're at a really unique point in the world right now. And I'm kind of in between. I'm in this phase of like, wow, there's actually so much opportunity. Like, don't listen to all the negativity. Like there's actually, if you do the right things, like we might be approaching this whole new world. But then on the other hand, there's this like, is everyone okay? Like I feel like kind of weird, dude. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. How do other people feel? And I feel like that was the impetus for starting to post other videos like that.
I absolutely love that. One of the things that I've continued to try to take in, especially when I first started getting some traction on YouTube, we definitely completely underestimate, at least brother, I know I did, the fact that each and every one of these people that are watching our videos, each and every single one of those views is a real person.
Yeah.
Right? There's a real person there who's got their own ideas, their own thoughts. Some are really smart, some maybe not as much, but a lot of people with their own things that they care about, that they love, and like, especially, and we're all coming with our own individual kind of expertise or whatever, and it can be one little thing that you say that can inspire someone who's watching your videos, that sets off a chain reaction that completely changes your life, completely changes their lives. And there's so much that's happening that we're not seeing in general, right? So I don't know. Yeah, I just continue to think about that. And so yeah, it's really cool to think about the fact that you posted that video and I saw the ad, and it was the title that caught my attention, right? And then it was like, okay, let me hear what this is about. And then I realized, oh, this is someone who I'd love to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
And how many like permutations of that can happen, you know?
Well, do you guys ever struggle with like one thing? It's almost like you touched on something that I think about all the time. Whenever I have a video, let's say it only gets like 3,000 views, 3,000 people in a stadium,
Crazy.
like listening to a 20-minute video is actually a ton of people.
A shitload.
And yeah, and I get so hard on myself, like, oh man, like I have to figure out how to reach more, almost to the point that, and I've said this before online, I'm like, if I see someone in person and they, you know, or it's like a meetup or something, I'm like, that's where I get my energy from. I love being like, oh, you actually watch the videos, because I think being online for so long, I've just gotten in this habit where I post and then forget that there's real people watching the videos, as silly as it sounds. But I'm like, oh wait, that really connected with you? Because it just seems like, especially with short form content, I'm just like concept post, concept post, concept post. So when I see someone in person and they're like, I watched this video, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it just doesn't, I don't know, seeing the numbers on the screen doesn't, at least I don't, sometimes my brain doesn't understand the impact that that's having. And then vice versa, when I watch other people's videos, I'm like, you know, I'm thinking like, this guy doesn't even know, like I've watched every single one of his videos.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt, man. As a creator, you go numb to it kind of because you have to, right? Because if you really get too involved in the comments, like you'll be on an emotional roller coaster, because half people say you're the best thing and then other people say you're the worst thing. And so you just kind of, I think for me, it was probably about a year or two into posting online when I was getting a decent amount of views, where it all just kind of started feeling the same. That's why we love the live format. I would definitely recommend you playing around with live, because when people come in here, like we actually get to speak to these people all the time, and they get to contribute to the conversation as well. So you can get in real time, like, okay, this is what people want to talk about, or this is not what they want to talk about. So it's awesome, man. Like live is truly awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to pick your brain on that, like after the show, because I have been hearing that more and more. I don't want to stream, but people have been saying, like, especially for your format, it would be good to do live streaming on YouTube. And like, yeah, definitely something I'm interested in, just that further connection with the audience, you know.
I would definitely hop into a Dan Whitmer live stream.
Yeah, I think you do great, man, because your vibe is very much like you want to hang around. Do you know what I mean? And that's really what I feel like people come to live streams for in a lot of cases. So I think you would very naturally do well with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of what I'm going for. I feel like, because dude, when you open up the internet, it's so many people like telling me what to do. Like,
Totally.
I know how to do this, and like I'm good at this. And I think I'm trying to be like the uncle who's just like, hey man, let's just sit. Like let me just sit across from you, and let's just have a conversation. And I'll tell you about my life, and you can talk about yours. And I'm not going to try to impose anything on you or tell you that I know something. I'm just going to share my experience.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping to get across, is just like, I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. I'm more, you know, trying to create a place where people can come and hang out.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, no, and I think that people would really gravitate towards that. And also the fact that you've had a lot of success online already really helps you out too, because you have the perspective that comes with it, right? Like a lot of people, when they get into content, if they don't know someone who's already been there and done that, they make the same mistakes that we all made when we first started, right? And the emotional mistakes are usually the most expensive ones. So I do think that whole vibe would really hit. And truthfully, Dan, you'd probably attract a pretty valuable audience, because it would probably be people who have their head on straight, who are actually like doing stuff with their life too. So that could, I think that would do really well for you, man.
Okay. Yeah. I think I have some logistical questions for you guys. Maybe after the show.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer whatever, man. This is what I do all the time. So happy to help.
Cool.
So Uncle Dan.
Yes.
I saw on one of your videos, you talked about, and you pulled up this clip of this guy who was yelling at you from his balcony, telling you to get a job.
Really?
Yeah. So talk to us about that. You know, as a content creator, this is something that definitely has continued to, you know, rattle around in my head. You know, telling people what you do and like how people look at it. Talk to us a little bit about that incident and how you handle that in general.
Yes. So for Ben, I think it was 2016. I was finding a parking garage to shoot like a jump rope workout. And I was on top of this parking garage, and I just, as I'm recording, this guy yells from a nearby balcony like, "Hey, dumbass, get a job." And I just remember just calmly looking up and thinking, well, you're the one, you know, standing from your office, like yelling this. I'm outside in my sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like,
Perspective is just off.
Like, I'm not even going to like say anything back. I'm just, you know, and I think I've always kind of been like a weird guy in some ways. So like when I started this, I was okay with the weirdness. Like I was okay with being outside, or if people like looked at you sort of weird, I was just like, I've never let that get in the way of the vision of seeing like, okay, if I sold this many jump ropes and it equated to this, and I could make more money doing this, like something I really enjoy and love, versus, you know, working in tech or something like that. It was funny that guy yelled that. And I was just like, well, I mean, all right. What do you want me to do?
It's from a place of ignorance and ego, right? Like, and I had the same sort of deal. You started even before I did, but I got a lot of hate for filming myself doing stuff, because I was also in college where there was easy access to make fun of me, right? Because there's so many people in one place, and also it's very easy for groupthink to set in, where a bunch of guys can be like, "Oh, that's super lame." Like I even remember like guys who thought they were trying to be nice were making fun of me and being like, "Oh, like 99% of what you do is lame, but this one thing's pretty cool." Like,
yeah. Thanks for the backhanded compliment. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, man. But much like you said, like throughout all my life, I've just seen that the cost of doing anything worth doing is typically a bit of potential embarrassment. Right. And so it's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah. And I don't fault anyone either for, I'm kind of like, it's okay that you don't understand this.
Totally. Yeah. It's not,
I'm not trying to convince anyone to do what I do. I feel like I kind of stumble into it with like, yes, there was like self-confidence involved, but it was also like a ton of luck and also just this curiosity. And I think people like us just have that, you know, like when I meet guys like you, or we have that. And so it didn't really bother me, because I was like, I know what I'm doing and it feels good. And I'm not going to be deterred if someone's, you know, I mean, yeah, we've had so many incidents in public where people are just like trolling and stuff. And I'm like, it's all good, man. It's fine. Like you're going to, I'm not going to get bent out of shape about it.
No, and stay curious is actually like the motto of the show. So we definitely agree with you there. I think curiosity just leads to such better things. And even in your little conversations, like if people come with less of an agenda and more just from a place of curiosity, 9 times out of 10, that conversation is going to go pretty well. So yeah, I think everything that's a good thing to apply to. Keith, looks like you had something.
Well, one of the questions that I also had was, you talked about how you did a little bit of going into the traditional path. Did you go to university? How did you think about all of that? And then I'll ask you to follow up after that.
Yeah. So I did the traditional, go to college, studied political science, graduated, but like I ended up taking the LSAT to go to law school, not because I wanted to be a lawyer, because I didn't know not that I'm from like the middle of nowhere, but I'm from a smaller town. And just when I was like 18, 19, going into college, the only thing on my mind was I have to be financially successful because that's what everyone's told me. And I kind of thought, okay, well, from where I'm from, like if you want to make money, you could be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, maybe own a business. Like I didn't really understand that there was like all these endless opportunities in, different cities for different types of jobs and things like that. So I studied political science and it was just in that mindset of always curious, but I didn't know what else was out there yet. So I was kind of on the, traditional track. And then as soon as I graduated college and started living in a city, that's when the wheels really started turning. You start meeting people. Oh, what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. How'd you get into that? Oh, that's weird. Like you studied music theory, but you work, you own this business. Like how did those things line up? So I feel like I was on a pretty traditional track until I started to get out into the world and just like you guys said, just be curious and talk to people.
And then, so now, as you sit where you stand today, Uncle Dan.
Yeah. Hit me.
Should young people be going to university?
Oh, man, I love that question, dude. Because I'm not that far removed. It's like it feels really far away, but it's also like 15 years. It's not that far away. Here's why I think going to school was really good. I don't remember anything I learned at all. But I was at times like kind of a anxious, awkward guy, and college helped me to just meet people. And that, like the interactions I had, like I said, from a small town. So I feel like just getting out into the world a little bit more and meeting people from all over the place was a huge benefit to me. So I'm glad that I did it. And I worked the whole way through college to pay rent. So there was like little things that I was learning that had nothing to do with college that were, beneficial to my growth. Having said that, I think I kind of, especially with the life that I'm living now and seeing young kids and how impressed I am by some of the things that younger kids are doing now. I wouldn't say, it definitely would not say it's necessary. I also wouldn't say though, like, no, screw college. It's a terrible idea. I don't believe that. And I also think there's still professions that require a degree in college and we need those professions. So like I think it's absolutely necessary. But if your goal is to, there's so many, do you need college? Absolutely not. Like the opportunities that exist now with these different platforms and AI and how much, how big of a business you can run with a small team. Like, I think if I was 20 years old now, I think I probably would have delved into a lot of this stuff. If I was raised in high school being on social media, I would have probably started doing this stuff earlier.
Totally. Yeah. I started all this. Go ahead.
Think about. I'm curious.
Oh, I was just gonna say I sent Keith a voice note yesterday, and I said to him, I'm like, all these people are hating about AI, and it seems like the education establishments should be catching a little more heat for people not being equipped, because people can say, oh, AI is the reason why young kids can't get a job, but I've employed young people. They're not equipped for the current day climate. They're just not. Like they're not given the skills when they go to school. They aren't given the tools to actually thrive in this environment. And so I think that a lot of attention should be pointed back towards the schools and be like, okay, are you preparing them for the world of tomorrow or the world of 20 years ago? And that's really what I spotted when I was in school. I was in school 10 years ago, and it was happening then where I was like, these guys are so far behind, which is why I really was aggressive with starting my business while I was in school. But I get why people are pissed. They get to the end, they paid all this money, and they're like, this isn't the world I was told that I'm entering.
Yeah, I can't imagine graduating right now. I feel like right now is even more so like, just, it seems the job market is a lot more bleak than what it was. And just knowing that there's all this other stuff going on, it is kind of, yeah, I could see how kids nowadays would be like, yeah, I don't know about this whole college thing. By the way, do you guys, am I echoing?
So, someone saying in the
Keith's
chat.
mic.
Oh, okay.
Word. I'll make sure that I'm muted when I'm not talking. That would make sense.
I don't even know if I have the right.
No, you're good. It's I think it's just because Keith and I didn't turn on echo cancellation. That's on us.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So, from my perspective, I mean, we've talked about this endlessly on the pod, but there was one thing that I recognized after going through my experience. One of my best friends, he went to an Ivy League university, and I definitely think so. Here's what's in my head right now: the cost of college has risen drastically, right? All of them have, right? So if you're not going to a community college, almost every university is going to have a pretty high price tag. But when you're going to university, the major thing that you're going to really get out of it, outside of the classroom, mostly is going to be the biggest benefits. It's going to be the connections that you actually make with people, whether it's your professors or the actual students that you're around and their parents and so on. And so, seeing my friend go to the Ivy League school, the way the return that he's going to get on that is exponentially different compared to the return that I'm going to get on the university that I went to, for thinking about the idea that the connections are the biggest benefit. And I just saw this post this morning as well that kind of points to this as well. So this guy, CJB Esquire, said, "This is why elite universities are elite universities." And this guy, or this lady, I think, Riva, was saying, "How is this a class? This is absolutely insane lineup." And this is Stanford University, spring of 2026. Frontier Systems is the name of the class. It's a computer science class. So the AI and infrastructure stack is being rebuilt from the ground up, and most people only see one layer of it. This course covers the full stack, from energy and silicon to foundation models and the applications reshaping how we work, create, and discover. So first thing about this is these elite universities also are intentional about getting ahead, right? They actually are the ones who make sure that they're doing something, because they know they're charging crazy amounts of money and they're supposed to be prestigious. So they have to do something to maintain their status, and that is by actually innovating and coming up with new courses and having professors that care. So the instructors, right, for the class is a guy named Michael Abbott, who was at GM, Apple, Twitter, Kleiner. You've got the speakers that are coming through for this semester: Amin from Google, Andrej from a co-founder of OpenAI. You have a VP of autopilot at Tesla coming through, Ben Horowitz from A16Z, a guy from Roblox, Y Combinator, Gary Tan from Y Combinator, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA.
Casual Sam Altman in there.
Sam Altman, Satya Nadella. You know what I'm saying? Like, just on the roster. And so in that case, right, then you might be able to get a pretty good return on your investment, because in what other scenarios are you going to have the chance to be in a room with these people?
Yeah.
But other than that, man, it can be really difficult, I feel like, to figure out how to do it. And I mean, a lot of these tech people, the funny thing is, they're out there. What are they saying? They're saying, you might want to go to trade school. That's what they're all screaming.
Yeah. And I feel like there is a lot of trade jobs actually that have popped up in the past like 10 years, where people are figuring out how to make a lot more money doing those jobs, or, like running like a plumbing business or something like that, where it's like more brick and mortar, but because of social media and technology, like those businesses are booming, but yeah, that's so it is tough to think about college now, just because of the opportunities that exist. I didn't even know that colleges were starting to adapt though, and make courses like that. I don't know if this is happening now, but I hope that some colleges are creating courses about what we're doing. Like, I hope there is a live streaming class that's like, if you have an interest, this is something that you can do. Because I just feel like the old traditional way that it's just so unnecessary. And the way that we learn now, like I use YouTube for everything. If I need to do, anything, it's straight to YouTube or the internet in general. So I feel like school has become, it now feels like, and I don't know because I'm not in it, but it now feels like this either or. Whereas when we went to school, like it was more of, if you didn't go to college, there was this kind of like, oh, you didn't go to college. Like you're in this category. And if you did go, you're in this category. And I think that line, it seems anyway, like it's more blurred now. That like, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Cause I mean, you could be a Twitch streamer and, you know, make a bunch of money. So yeah.
In What a Sale in the chat just said, I saw a data center electricians making over 250K, and the industry is fighting over them currently.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, what kind of people are, making that kind of money, period?
Exactly.
Very few.
No, exactly. Like there's, it's
so,
yeah.
Things are definitely changing in that regard. And it's interesting. I didn't think about it from the social perspective too much, but it's, anyone who's like my parents, for instance, they're still in that mindset of like, oh, well, you're either doing this and you're one of those kind of people, or you're not, and you're one of those kind of people. But for us, we don't necessarily look at each other that way, because everybody's graduating and no one's getting a job. Right.
Yeah.
It's also been years of propaganda too, or messaging that basically drilled that into their head, which is a very important thing to think about too. And Keith, you and I talk about the foundation of keeping people on the machine by preaching, oh, you need to own a home. The university degree is what supersedes that, right? Like it's the university degree and then that. So essentially, like, you have to work a job forever because of the debts that you incurred during that time. So yeah, I think being a lot more selective with, is this right for where I want to go? And the crazy thing is that probably forces kids to even think about that on their own, right? Like, most of the time when kids are asked, like, what do you want to do? It's under these, like, what degrees exist. Now it's like, I think that's a very flawed lens of analysis at this given point, because you can create your own job.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's something that's never been around in human history. And so by going to a kid and saying, like, do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever? Like she, they may have a better idea in their own head, but like until a parent says, like, you can go explore that, they may never try.
Yeah. So true. A guy that just randomly comes to mind that I was like talking about, I was showing a friend a video and I was like, you don't understand this guy. It was a Danny Duncan video. Do you guys know Danny Duncan?
Yeah. Danny's funny, man.
I just love how he did this thing where he creates this content, but then he made props for the content, like that smelling salt thing. And he sells it on his website, but it makes his videos more interesting.
Yes.
I'm like, this is, and then he has like,
he's super
the
creative
shop, the pizza place. And I'm just like, this is interesting to watch, not just for the content, but how this guy has created this business where he introduces all these lines of products, but it's all in the, like you said, he created this whole world. And then, just
it never feels forced.
There. Yeah,
totally.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's so creative with how he works these things in. And I think that's also, all creators should be given that advice, is that you're not limited to one thing in terms of what you can do. You're only bounded by your creativity, realistically. And that's a muscle that you can continue to work on and get better at. And there's so many opportunities to build in different business verticals into your content. It's also why you don't need to go viral. I think a lot of people are so obsessed with, okay, I'm not going to do this thing because I could never get millions of views. If you have 1,000 true fans, is the essay that's all across the internet.
Love that.
Yeah, it's super good. I definitely recommend, if anyone is watching this wanting to start their own thing, go read the 1,000 True Fans essay, because you can build a very big business with 1,000 true fans. And just like what Dan said, is that it's so high leverage, because if those 1,000 true fans have friends that are like them, which they probably do, that 1,000 turns into tens of thousands very, very quickly, even for something incredibly seemingly niche and obscure.
Yeah. Well, and Keith, you said this. It took me a while to realize that you don't have to go viral in order to have success, because if you have 1,000 people in a room watching, that's 1,000 people. But we are sort of trained, especially when you get one viral video, you're like, well, if that does, I have to make that happen again.
Right.
And then I've had these difficulties where, like, I kind of neglect my own content because I'm like, that video only got 3,000 views. And I was like, man, but I really like felt like I had a good message in that video. And it probably impacted someone more than the 50,000 view video I made, which was like, maybe just some quick routine.
Totally. Yeah, I think how you get through that from my years of experience and trying to do it, and 'cause it's definitely a balancing act, is just realizing that it's all like parts of a house, right? So like that video that got only 3,000 views, that might be like a support beam that is so integral to the entire ecosystem, and it's not sexy. No one looks about it or talks about it. It's just there, right? But it's part of the overall house. Without it, it would fall over. It's not the door that everyone comes through and looks at, like the viral video, but it's super important to the entire ecosystem. And so when you sign like a role to why you did something, I've found that can allow you to detach from the performance of it a little bit.
Well, and to remember that, like, if your goal is to build a business, and this is the thing that I've gotten wrapped up in, I'll admit it. I don't want fame, dude. I don't care if people know who I am. I want to build an income for myself and my fam, like just to take care of my family. And
Totally.
I'm okay with just that. And so to building a business has nothing to do with going viral. Like I've followed people with 3,000 subscribers who have $1 million businesses that like, and just continuing to remind myself of like, that's actually what you want. You want to have money and no one know who you are, not the opposite. You don't want to be viral and have nothing to show for it, but like you can't go out into the street because everyone's, you know, attacking you.
That's it.
100%, 100%. One of the things about the college conversation that came back to my mind too is I saw so many people going to university to go to like business school and having no real idea of why or what they were actually going to do. So Ben, you were talking about this idea of people actually starting to be more conscious of what is it that they want to do. I think that's super, super powerful and important because that's a big piece of what's happened is just, oh, we'll just go to business school and like you'll figure it out. But that didn't necessarily help anyone.
No, I went to business school because I did think about this when I was really young. I know that I'm not normal that way, but whenever people would ask me what I'm going to do, I'm like, I don't think it exists yet. So I wouldn't answer their question because I could just feel that things were changing so rapidly. And they'd always put me in boxes like, oh, you're going to be a real estate agent or you're going to be this or you're going to be that, because through their lens, like that was what would make sense for someone with my natural skill set. But with how fast things move, it's almost dumb to say you're going to be anything because there may be a better opportunity tomorrow, and your ability to be nimble and reflexive is going to be truthfully your biggest skill set. So I think that's a huge, huge thing that not many people consider. And I only went to school realistically to play football and to get my parents off my back. And so once I was there and I saw that my education was a joke, Keith, because I was in the business program. And so I looked around and everyone in my program was saying the same sort of thing, right? Like they were there because, oh, like you can do anything with business. But if you can do anything with something, you can probably do nothing with something. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm like, this makes no sense. And also the people that I was around, I was like, bro, like these people are not trying to do anything. They're here to party. They're here to chill. And so that's why I just didn't really care about my studies throughout school. And I used this as, okay, this is my time where no one's going to be watching my time. And so that's why I would spend all of my time building my business. I partied a lot too, don't get me wrong. But like all my other free time, when I go to the library, I wasn't reading the book. I was on YouTube, educating myself, reading a blog post, making a video, that stuff.
Man, that's so interesting because I was the kid who was like, I feel like I got really good grades totally out of fear. I was like, care. I was a procrastinator. Like I definitely crammed for tests, but like I wasn't a good student. Like I didn't do it the right way, but I was like, I have to get good grades because that's the only thing that seems to be the only thing that matters. And people will stay off my back if I just do well.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of people are in that. I never really cared because I saw that school just didn't make sense for what I wanted to do. So what I did is I needed 70% to remain in my internship program. And I was very proud of the fact that I got 70.02. And my dad told everybody at that Christmas, he's like, this fucker just got like barely over the thing to stay in there. And I was like, I'm proud of that. Like, that's exactly what I was trying to do. And I did it.
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah. Been a big tell for me was definitely the people that I was in class with and just like recognizing that, so I definitely was on the side of, I'll be honest, of like, I'm here, but I'm actually like watching charts in the back of the lecture hall and like, trying to like run my e-commerce ads and stuff like that, like not actually paying attention to the teacher. But I would notice so many other people were like locked in And I'm like, but what are you doing when the class is gonna end? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're just gonna like go do whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're only trying to get the grade. So, you know, it was very interesting. I definitely was like observing that as I was there. I'm like, hmm. And it, unfortunately for me, this like fed an ego in me. I thought that I was like, you know, doing something so superior to everyone around me. But then I had to realize like, well, you know, people are doing what there's told or what they think is normal and what's right. But yeah, it was very interesting situation.
I get that totally, because I was doing the same sort of stuff. But if you do spot that a system is broken, it's not saying that you're superior for doing something different. It's just saying like, I see what's in front of me, so I'm going to do something differently. Like I saw it in the university ecosystem. Their incentive structures were just so broken, even in terms of what they rewarded, the people that they rewarded. Like there was this entrepreneurship scholarship that I applied for. I was the only one running an actual business, and I didn't win. Bro, they gave it to some guy who volunteered for the entrepreneurship community to take photos. I was like, what the hell is that? And so then I was like, yeah, I don't care about you guys whatsoever. This is bullshit.
Yeah. Because what they really mean by entrepreneur scholarship is go work for a big four. You'll fit in just perfect.
Totally.
You know what I mean? The guy who already started the business, like he's going to come with all kinds of ideas. We don't want that.
That's a great point, Dan.
Like almost like you kind of worked yourself out of the.
True.
The
yeah, I listened to it too much that I actually worked myself out of it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting times, man. Yeah.
I wouldn't be sending my kid to school unless they were begging me to go, is what my 2 cents would be.
Yeah.
Like they would have to convince me why they need to go to school versus the other way around.
I like that spin on it.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like you guys first asked me, like, what do you think about going to school? And I have versus like, if I had a child and what would I tell them? It would be that. It would be like, well, listen, son, like, you know, there's a lot of, especially with the background that I have now, it's like, you know, you can just like make videos where you say that you're, and you know how I said I was a man child? You could just get on here and be like, I'm a 5-year-old child.
Yeah.
Like, that could be, you know, that could start a business. So yeah, my advice to a kid thinking about college would be, it would be a lot more like, I don't really, prove to me why you need to go, because it's expensive, and you know, what are you gonna get out of it?
Yeah, it used to be the other way around, where you have to like convince your parents why you don't need to go, and I think it should kind of be flipped at this point.
Yeah.
Super fascinating. It's like, you need to write an essay to me, right? About you wanting to go to university.
Well, because my sister went to university, and I had already been through all of this, and I knew it was coming. And I sat her down and I was like, there's no point. I know what you're going to school for, because she went to school for a program that was called like leadership. It was one of the business majors at my school. And I was like, Abby, come on. Like, what do you think leadership is going to freaking teach you, right? And I said to her, I was like, you're going to incur a lot of debt. You're going to do all these things. And I said, and you're probably going to come out of this and become a real estate agent, and you don't even need the degree to do this. It's literally exactly what happened. But the kids are so bought into the propaganda of wanting to go and party.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I can't sit here and say there's not value in that. Like,
True.
The truth is, I feel like I've gotten into certain situations and opportunities in my life just because sometimes I like to go out and have fun. And so I can't knock. I don't know if you guys delved. I feel like we're all in various corners of the internet. Like, I love going down rabbit holes, and like, I'm fascinated by the current like looks maxing situation, like whatever's going on there. And there was this interview with the main guy, Clavicular. I'm sure you guys have heard that name. And, you know, he's being asked, like, do you see value in human interaction? And this is a kid who like was 13 during COVID or something. And so it's like, oh yeah, this guy needs to go to college. Like, this guy needs to party. Like, man, is this what like 19-year-old kids think of the world? Like, dude,
totally
you need to go have a beer, man. Like, so in that sense, I did think, you know, that was like a benefit to it, but definitely not a reason to go spend $150,000, you know, just to do that.
Totally.
Yeah, and one of the things that I hate about, you know, having this conversation of like, don't go to university is like, all of us here are products of technically having gone to university, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to really truly say that without acknowledging that reality at the same time, right? If someone were from our universities, prospective universities, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, really? Well,
Mhm.
everything that you're doing, you technically went to university before you were continuing to do all of these things, or as you were doing them, whatever." And it
Yeah,
was a part
'cause
of our trajectory, you know.
for sure, because it was kind of a domino effect of like, because I went to school, I, got this internship, which did eventually get me to go visit this city. And when I visited, the just chain of events.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, so you made me think of one of the things that I was seeing when I was evaluating what universities I wanted to apply to. Do you guys remember I'm Schmacked? I guess Dan, this would have been like you would have been out of the scene by
Okay.
then.
No, I don't.
Ben, did you see I'm Schmacked back in the day?
Yeah, I did. And then the guy who made that, or one of them, he makes a lot of business content on TikTok.
Fascinating, fascinating. But yeah, so I remember watching that with my friends. It's like a party media brand. They ended up
Okay.
getting in like some trouble, and like I don't think that they're able to really do what they were doing in the same way, but they would go to all these universities and like just they would throw a big party, and then they like show like the behind the scenes of throwing the party, and then like all of the crazy highlights and scenes from these parties. And it was
Yeah.
just like the perfect promo video for each university to like
Mhm.
show
Okay.
how
You
hard
got
they
it.
party.
Imagine if they had
I'll
an
have to-
affiliate program. I commented that on his thing when he talked about the business. I was like, dude, if they even had like a 1% affiliate program,
1%.
you'd be so rich.
That's so true. You get, that 1%'s a nice little coin.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man, oh man, and you get recurring on that if
Yeah.
if they go to grad school too.
That's what I said. I'm like, bro, you'd be retired. You'd be running this thing.
I'll have to check that out. Is that almost like, it sounds almost like Full Send or something like
It
that?
was
Yes.
Full Send before
Okay.
Full Send, I think, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, it was like Full Send and the whole thing, and the one. So I ended up going to the University of Miami, and so the one for U of Miami was probably one
Probably
of the most
insane.
lit ones.
Totally.
That's dude, that's cool that you went to Miami, dude. I feel like I went to school up in Pennsylvania, and I feel like I was set on, I told my parents, like, I want to go to school in Florida. And they're like, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like, you're going to have to pay for it. So, like, if you want to go down there, you can. I was like, yeah, I guess that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, man. But man, so much to talk about from that. But I just remembered being up in my friends' rooms and we were watching those videos and that being a legitimate thing that would like make you feel a certain way about the university that you're going to.
Yeah.
Wes
Did you ever
said,
watch that type of media and think like, I could do something like this? Or were you watching it with like a,
well, the funny thing is that I was a DJ. So a big part of that was like, oh, here's a DJ. That's like they're throwing these parties, right? So I
Yeah.
actually was thinking to myself, like, oh, this is something that I could totally do in some ways. And I
Yeah.
had thrown some parties in high school, and like the first thing that I did when I got into my university's group chats was like, "Yo, I'm a DJ. Like, let
DJ.
me know. Hit me up."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you DJ at many parties?
Not a ton of stuff, but I did like some tailgates and stuff at even like local universities around, and so
That's
that was
sick.
a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you have some great stories from the University of Miami.
You
Some
know,
good nights out.
another piece of the university thing that's interesting is the whole Greek life.
Mhm.
So I was not in any fraternities, but that man, there's a lot of
crazy.
economics to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy, man. It's got a
crazy,
smaller
bro.
scale here, but I was in a frat, and you see all that crap. I wasn't as into it as some of the other brothers were. I think that's what they call themselves, right? Fraternity brothers. And but it was insane, and especially in America, you guys have some very deep rooted ties from the connections to the establishments themselves and these like societies.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't really know. I wasn't in Greek life. I played a year of football, which was like kind of like Greek life, but
Yeah.
no, I didn't really. I never really got into it, but like I would always, I'd be at like parties and stuff like that, and it always was like just kind of crazy how, and if you go to like some of the bigger schools, like I'm sure Miami had some massive fraternities, and like, you know, talk about post-school connections. That was probably, I think at the time I was kind of like, no, I don't want to do Greek life. But then I saw the guys getting opportunities when they got out, because like, you know, so-and-so's dad is a high-level attorney in Philadelphia and has all these connections and whatnot. So yeah, definitely see the value in that.
Yes. So Miami is also, it's not a massive school, so we didn't have like the crazy Greek life that I kind of saw a little bit growing up in the South and whatnot.
Yeah.
But once again, the economics piece of it all was definitely happening there. And
what do you mean specifically when
I
you
know
say that?
I'm trying to say it. I'm trying to find the way to say it, but you know, there's a lot of things that university students need, right, to get through, to be able to be successful in their academic careers. They don't need these things, but they can have them. And the truth of the matter is, these universities and the universities, they turn their own kind of, they do what they need to do. A lot of these large universities, they have their own kind of police forces sometimes as well. You'll kind of notice that kind of a piece of it. And all I'll say is that in a lot of ways, you can recognize that there are certain entities that are somewhat protected.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, like there's kind of like, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. But you know, there's activities that are happening that that almost mirror, I guess, what you would see outside in the real world at a large scale as well. But you know, maybe that's also just my university, and it's just because, you know, I was in Miami.
No,
but I do think it's a part of
that's
that
a
culture.
thing for sure. I think athletics is a thing too, where that trickles over. Same sort of stuff, right? Where the people become untouchable, and then what does that do to your brain?
Yeah.
As a
Yeah,
young man?
especially, yeah, because you're seeing on campus is like even frats or athletes is kind of like, oh, that's so and so from this community. You know what I mean? Like they have a team around them, so like, you know,
don't screw with
just be
them.
aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people take advantage of that to do some stuff that they probably shouldn't. But Keith, I was looking up, my university was bigger than yours in terms of school.
Wow. Yeah,
that's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Because I went to school in Canada, and I'm like, how many students went to the University of Miami? We have like a fair amount more than you.
What was yours at?
We were at like 30 something K.
Oh, double. Yeah. Almost double.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You Miami was like 15 undergrad, 10 undergrad, like 15, 20 total. Yeah, it seems like such a big school because of the party life or whatever, but
the brand.
The brand.
I think it was only like 10K undergrad.
Yeah, it's pretty small, and maybe it's changed a little bit, but yeah, a lot of my friends, they went to like, you know, the University of Tennessee's, you know, 50,000+ kids, Michigan, like crazy head counts. So I didn't have like that kind of college experience. I love talking about it though, because the brand of Miami is so massive, and people like, it's known for like, oh, you must have had such a good time, and it's like, listen.
I mean, when you're seeing like, what's that Drake video where he's like on University of Miami's is that
God's Plan? I was there.
There. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the biggest marketing, you know, like commercial for the University of Miami.
Yeah, dude, that was a crazy day. I feel like I've already talked about it on the pod, but like I was a freshman, so we were all in class, and then there was just rumors just started spreading real fast that Drake was there, and then we all just like left class. The teachers were just like, all right, just leave. Like,
yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's awesome, man.
But
yeah, we didn't have stuff going on like that at where I went to school.
Yeah, so the one that we were like, Stanford has Sam Altman, Satya Nadella, and all these people coming through. We had Rich the Kid, Drake.
Like, that's awesome.
A tale of two cities.
Yeah, that's unreal. Where do you want to take it next, Keith?
Let's see, man. One of the things that I actually also wanted to touch on with you, Dan, was you did some of the coaching stuff, and in general, you're in this fitness space. So I imagine you've probably seen some people come to you with some interesting stories of like how you might have impacted them or how their life changed. Can you talk to us a little bit about that aspect of things, like being in fitness, and how you think that might have played a role, and also how you think about what you do?
Yeah. It's definitely given me a really deep sense of purpose. I'm not really someone who's like overtly like, I'm changing the world. Like I have this, like, it's my goal to like, like I'm just very blatantly like, nah, dude, I just put videos on YouTube and hopefully they can help people. But some of the stories that I've heard or people who have really like brought me to tears. Like, I've gotten a few, messages over the years of people being like, I was going to unalive myself and I found your channel and started to improve my health. And then because of improving my health, it led me here. And I feel like I've had some like mental health struggles as well. So those types of messages, when I'm having a bad day or when I'm just like, oh man, like I got to make another jump rope video. Like I don't have anything more to talk about with that. It just feels like, oh no, this is why I'm doing that. And just the people who lose like, 100+ pounds, like that is, and then someone will hit me up and be like, yeah, I did it. I just interviewed a guy, shout out Adam, who lost 135 pounds, like doing workouts on our channel. And he's an offshore oil rig worker. So he's sending me videos of him on, offshore jumping rope. And I'm like, yeah, like that's one of the viewers, I'm like, man, this guy's like out here offshore in Texas, like doing like with my voice in the background. And so that like things like that really make me feel this like deep sense of purpose and to keep going. Another thing it's shown me too is this like, I guess like deeper level of empathy for the human condition, because I recognize that like it's my job to work out. So some of the advice that I'm going to give people, it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's easier for me to be like, oh no, all you got to do is like surf for 2 hours and then jump rope for an hour and then like eat these things. And like, oh yeah, I have all the time in the world to go to the grocery store. It's like, it's really helped me see and understand other people's issues and how I can like tailor my message and content to help them and not be so much about, I think at the beginning I was more into the whole, like, I'm like this TV personality and we have this channel and I want to go viral and I want to be seen as like fun and funny and whatever. And I feel like that kind of switched to how can my workouts and programs and like that we sell on the app be just help people, like help the person who's like, dude, I have 3 kids and I'm already stressed for time. And I live a good life. I like, I have this great family, but dude, I'm really busy. I just need some help, So I think it's given me more empathy for what people go through. And that's helped me as a fitness person, because there's so many fitness people who are like, you just got to like suck it up, like the David Goggins type of, and it's helped me realize like, yeah, you do have to suck it up, but also, man, like some people are really struggling and everyone's life situation is different. So the old, like, just like, don't be a pussy mentality. It's like, you kind of have to change your messaging or like tailor it so people can really connect with it and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this guy's workout because, I feel this genuine connection with him.
What have you noticed has been the most impactful for hitting people that are there, right? That are saying, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. Like, what are some big things that you've done or said that were breakthroughs for people?
I feel like one thing that I say, I don't know if this is what I hope has had a breakthrough, but one thing that I say often in my workouts is like, you only have maybe 35 minutes. Just like do this workout with me. Like just be here with me. And I'll kind of talk about like, yeah, there's all this stuff going on in the world. You have all these other things that after you're done, you're going to have to worry about. Like you have tasks and responsibilities. But right now, and that's why I try to get a little, goofy or let my personality out a little more. Cause I'm like, just be here with me, man. Like you're going to have to go back to the real world soon. So let's just like, you've clicked on the video, you've said that you're going to do this with me. So let's like actually do it. Let's go 110%. And then, then get back to like normal life. So I hope that kind of thing resonates. But yeah, I kind of pride myself on being like the accessible fitness guy who's like, you know, I'm gonna whoop your ass, but like it's gonna be fun, and it's not gonna be this like super serious, you know. I think people equate fitness a lot and getting in shape to becoming this like really boring person who doesn't want to like eat the wrong thing or like go out too late at night. And I feel like I kind of try to meet people in the middle of like, hey, if you want this result, like you got to get after it, man. Like you have to, you know, let's get stuff done. But at the same time, like you don't have to hate the process, or else if I don't like the process of something, I'm not really motivated to do it. And so I try to connect with the people who are maybe not the diehard fitness people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's most of the world probably. So that sounds great.
I saw this exchange the other day. You guys made me think of it. This guy said, just walk for an hour straight. I'm only at 5,000 steps. How do y'all get to 10,000? And then this person said, walk 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so true, man. It's so true.
It's a time thing. You know, it does take time. And there was a time in my life where I was working like, I don't know, like 60 hours a week or whatever. Like just literally would go do a job, come home, rest for an hour, go do the second job, come home, pass out. I was like, dude, I understand why people are not able to actually work out.
Yes.
Because even if you had the time in that situation, it's like, bro, like I'm dead. I'm on my feet all day. I'm like, so yeah, it's definitely beyond just like, just go work out. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah.
Yep. So I heard you say some things also about like legacy. And you're kind of just talking about it just off the cuff, but I'm definitely curious of how you think about legacy and what that really means in your eyes, or if that's something that you even believe in at all.
Yeah, Keith, man, now you're getting into like the gritty. This is like the shit that I'm like really passionate about. But I feel like I've always been this kind of like I take being not serious like really seriously. Like, so when it comes to legacy, I actually am a really serious, like, yo, I will leave my legacy, but it will not be this, you know, I have this much money. Look at this thing that I've built. Like, I almost want to show people that like your whole life can be a huge, silly whatever. And that is your legacy. Just like I'm going to have trouble thinking of an example, but like anyone who's just gone and done what they're about and what they're going to do, and their legacy is just like, yeah, this is I feel like my legacy is, when I was a young kid, I struggled with self-esteem. And I always felt like I have these memories of like listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers when I was like 9 and 10 years old and being like, I don't know what this is, but I think I'm one of these guys. Like, I feel like I'm a Red Hot Chili Pepper and I want to like move to California and surf and skate. And so I feel like, but I didn't have the self-esteem. I feel like a lot of my childhood, even in the high school, I was very like, I don't want to do the wrong thing. You know, I don't want to piss anyone off. Like, I want to be myself, but I don't want to like stand out in society. And I didn't really have the confidence to say like, no, this is how I feel. And I developed that confidence later in life and starting my own business and all that. So my whole point about legacy now is more of like, and that's what my second channel, Keith, is like, if a young Dan who's like 12 or 13 watches this, I want that kid to know that they can grow up and be whatever they want. And so I feel like my legacy is just like, for all the people who look up to Kobe Bryant and Steve Jobs, there has to be people that look up to like Ozzy Osbourne and Hunter S. Thompson and, you know, all these other weird people that exist in society that have made it in some form or fashion. So I feel like legacy is, for me, legacy is like being my true self 100%, almost like observing myself and just commenting on that, in the hopes that maybe someone could get value out of this 100 years down the road. That's really what it is. It's like I've read and listened to books from people who were just writing their thoughts down. But then when I listened to one of their thoughts, I was like, oh man, that was so helpful. Thank you for that. Like, thank you, guy from who wrote this in 1950. Like that was amazing. And so I feel like in terms of legacy, that's kind of what I'm trying to do too, is like, hey, I existed in this period of time and all this stuff was going on. And my legacy is just leaving behind my thoughts. And I do think, like, you know, I'm very close with my family. So in terms of just making sure they're okay and that we always are close, like, I guess that you could say that's a part of my legacy, but trying to find like a good finisher to that. I think I'm just like, this whole legacy thing of I just grew up being like, everyone is so serious and it's so lame. Like, I'm so bummed about this. Like, everyone's like, what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, I want to have fun. I was always the kid that was like, let's laugh. Let's have a good time. And when people would try to, you know, everyone tells you, like, when you're a little kid, they're like, you can be an astronaut, you can be a baseball player, you can be whatever. And then as soon as you turn like 15, they're like, actually, I lied. You have to be realistic. You can't be any of those things. You have to. And I think my legacy is like telling the kids, like, no, you want to be an astronaut, bro? Let's go. Like, you can be an astronaut.
I love that, man.
Love it.
One question that I had when I was listening to you speak there was, for the younger generation especially, but I think no one's immune to this, since people can rap into their phone whenever they get a bit of discomfort, I think a lot of people have no clue what being their true self would even look like for them, because they've not really sat with their own thoughts. Are there any protocols or habits that you do on a consistent basis to make that a priority, to figuring out like who is Dan, who does Dan want to be? Are there things that you could give to people to start that exploration process?
The first word that comes to mind is self-awareness, like the constant critiquing of yourself, or maybe not critiquing, but observation of yourself and your patterns. And the one, I'm not like a promoter of spiritual gurus, but I will say a book that helped me get into that mindset was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. When I first listened to that book and learned about, like, oh, your thoughts, there's like two people inside your head and you can be the observer of what's going on. That was the first time that I was like, anytime I feel some level of pain or discomfort, recognizing it and being like, oh, I feel this way. That's interesting. Like, I feel this way every time that this happens. And like, that doesn't make me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this happen? And then I started asking the questions. But I think that's what the first step is. If you're not in a place to ask yourself the questions, then you're kind of just like existing without any introspection, you know?
Totally.
Like, you have to know that you have to ask the questions to yourself.
Yes.
First. And if you don't know that, then it's kind of impossible to get to the second stage.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's great. And definitely, if you've never heard of that book, go give it a go. But I think that's the first step in all of it, because then you realize that most of your existence is choice-based, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, they just say, oh, this person's like this, or I'm like this as a personality trait. So they're like, they think they'll always have to be like that, right? It's like that in and of itself is a choice, right? Like, if you're the person who like overreacts at times, like, that can just change. You can just become the guy that doesn't do that anymore. And until you start to do what you just said, how could you even realize that's a possible reality for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love it, man. I think, was it you that was were you talking about Alan Watts at all as well?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, a lot of stuff that he said really opened my mind up.
And then there was some.
Go ahead.
I was
gonna say, are there any quotes in particular that really come to mind, resonated with you?
Oh, I have so many. I'm trying to think of his quote about, like, the point of life is just existing, and everyone's rushing around without realizing, like, the whole point of life is just that we're here. Like, as corny or as hippie as it sounds, he really helped me to understand, like, have you ever really just gone and looked at a flower? Like, do you understand the insanity and beauty that exists right in front of our faces, that we are just like, we're just like, hey, get out of my way in traffic. Like, we're all pissed off at people. And it's like, guys, we're on a spinning rock and there's all this amazingness going on, and we're like focused on the wrong things. I feel like he was someone who he said in an intelligent way, he basically helped me to feel that existence is not, you're not wasting your life by just existing, and this constant need for validation and productivity and like, I'm showing up right everybody, like I'm doing the right things, I'm working hard. He helped me to kind of see like, this is all a facade. This is a game that we're choosing to play. And I appreciated his intelligence on the matter, but also that his delivery was so childlike, like so like it was eloquent, but he was basically saying life is play, you know?
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I feel like you also mentioned that he was like an alcoholic. Is that true?
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't you.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, he died at 51. And like, that's another thing. I look up to that guy, but it's more proof of like, everyone's just a guy or a girl. Everyone is just a person that you shouldn't really, like, I respect some of the things he did, but it wasn't a good, I wouldn't be like, yeah, this guy, like, I'm going to follow this guy's footsteps, because he did drink himself to death. And yeah, so it's just more proof of like, someone can be so profound and helpful, but also know that they're just a regular person with their own demons.
Totally.
You know? In the artist, in the artwork, right? The classic conversation. And a lot of people, Ben, we've continued to see, or Dan, have you seen this guy, Professor Chang, pull up on your feed?
Love him, dude. Yeah.
I've been seeing so much criticism. There was some people in my group, one of my group chats yesterday. They were like, somebody said, "Who is this Professor Chang guy? Like, and what right does he have to be talking about this and that?" And I bring it up because I feel like it's a very funny example of, there's been this huge attack on like, he's not a professor. He might be an agent of this or that agency or whatever. And all these things to like talk about who he is. And it's like, okay, but the only reason anyone's even talking about him is because his ideas.
Yeah, who cares who he is?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, one of his ideas that he put out there into the world happened to be something that actually came into fruition. And now everybody wants to jump on this bandwagon and talk about who he is.
Yeah.
But, it's been fascinating to
that's one of the worst parts of the internet, man, is because now to like someone, they've created the prerequisite that you have to like every part about them.
So true.
Right? It's like every conversation. If you talk about with politics is the one that comes to mind the fastest, especially because my family definitely hates Trump, and like they have Trump derangement syndrome for sure. And they're obsessed with the guy. Like, they say they hate him, but they talk about him every time I see them. I'm like, I don't live in America. I don't care about any of this. Why are you bringing this up 24/7? You're obsessed with this guy. And so it's just, and then if you say, I also said to her, my Nana, who like hates him so much, I said, I'm not saying Trump is good, or like, let's say he did something great. Would you change your opinion on that, or would you see it as good? And she's like, no. I'm like, then why are we even having a conversation? At that point, you're just a bot.
Yeah.
I find all of that fascinating. To me, it seems as if right now should be a time when we are much more discerning in that way. We've seen a lot of people say one thing, do other things. We've seen a lot of people be the person of authority and completely lie and put us down paths that might not have been good for us and might have been existentially fatal things that they've suggested that we do. And so it should be pretty obvious by now that we have to start to discern the difference between the messenger and the actual message, and really critically think. And I don't know if this is something that is just, I guess as humans, it's in our psychological nature to want to, Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Fast and Slow, a Nobel Prize winning economist, psychologist who did behavioral economics. Our brains try to take the shortest pathway to figuring out the answer to something, right? So if there's a heuristic that we can use, such as an appeal to authority, then we'll do it, right? Because it requires less brain power. But
Yeah.
it's definitely, you know, something that we have to fight against, I think, especially with so much information flying around.
Do you think that causes, like, one thing I notice about social media, which is kind of screwed up but interesting, is like we're so quick to exalt people like Professor Zhang or like Andrew Huberman, or like as soon as people say a couple of things, we're like, this guy's the next up, get him up there, like get him to the top. Like the professor, he's killing it. He made these predictions on the Iran war. He has all these great lectures. Let's get him to stardom. And then as soon as we get them up there, then we're like, okay, let's begin the teardown process.
Wow.
And that is like what you were saying about, it's almost like we don't even know we're doing this, because the human brain is like, let's get the shortest route to get to the information we need. But like, okay, now we're just, it's almost like everyone goes through. I saw Joe Rogan go through it, guys like Huberman, various political commentators. Like, it's like the rise, and then everyone's like loving them for a while, kind of tapers out, and then it's like, okay, what's the dirt on this person? Let's bring them down. And it's like a real life gladiator stadium playing out for. It's weird how human behavior is like this.
It's funny. It's funny how short the timeline is now. It's like,
it's so short.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's weeks now, man. It's because of also the incentive structures of social media in general, right? Like a lot of people make their money being professional haters. And so essentially they'll literally jump on whatever they can hate on next within their pocket of the internet. So it happens all the time. And one thing I say all the time is, as soon as you reach a point of critical mass where talking ill of you guarantees views, it becomes inevitable.
That's so true. Yeah. Like I don't know if you guys are in this corner of the internet, but I love watching commentary channels about people, like about internet personalities. So one of my guilty pleasures is, do you guys know who Wes Watson is?
Wes Watson. I don't.
Oh yeah.
There's like commentary channels that just like hate on this guy.
Wow.
I don't really feel, I'm kind of indifferent about like both. I just find it super entertaining. But the fact that, once you get to a certain, or even now, this guy's CoffeeZilla does incredible,
he is great,
investigation videos. But even some of his stuff, it's like once someone gets super big, it's like, hey, here he comes, he's going to dig up the dirt and like give it to the people.
My favorite Wes Watson scenario. So Wes Watson's like this
I love that,
like fitness influencer, I guess, who kind of turned into like life coach more, I guess, is kind of what he does. And he like came out of prison and like was teaching people all the stuff and became like multimillionaire, teaching people how to turn their lives around after he got out of prison and did this for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so, the guy's had some legal troubles since he's been out of prison, and since he's built up this massive empire, he's kind of like, flexing with the cars and all this stuff. I think he's in Florida, right? So that kind of vibe. And my favorite moment with this guy, I'll pull up a clip real quick. He's on stage with some of these like red pill guys. It's like Andrew Wilson and Myron Gaines and all these guys. And it was just this perfect moment of like, all right, you got to really get in check here. So let me play this for y'all, because this is crazy.
A perfect example of how insecure people react when they're losing an argument.
Are you proud of who the you are? Would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. You got 10-inch arms and tits.
If you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. I do think that a rejection of materialism is something missing in society, and I do think that true wealth is the family. Success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. Do you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have 2.
Are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything else is worth more than your children?
My dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He's God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining.
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
Dude, I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're going to attack.
Straight
You're going to
up.
attack me?
All right. He knows he wouldn't do shit about it, and that's the problem.
You're the one who got hostile for having a difference of opinion.
This is a perfect example of how
Oh, they didn't show the actual part of that. That was actually real. Essentially, my man makes a physical threat at him, and Andrew Wilson is like, are you really gonna make threats on a man in Florida, kind of a thing? You know, he's like on an armed man in Florida,
Yeah.
basically. And he was like, yo, like sit down. If it gets physical, you're gonna get put down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So very, very American kind of scenario. I guess I can go ahead and acknowledge that. But in general, I think my only thing that I thought was fascinating about that was just like seeing one of these role models that people are kind of like hoisting up and like, this is the guy. By the way, neither of these guys are like infallible. They both do crazy stuff on the internet to get views and whatnot.
Yeah.
But just like, let's come back to reality. Let's recognize the fact that we're all here on this plane with life, and we can breathe and be happy and like not have to do all of that kind of a thing. And Andrew really, you know, put him in the place of like, look, bro, it's Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't do that here. But
yeah, no, that's a fascinating like corner of the internet. Just the whole, you know, be a man, alpha male, you know. And I gotta say, I love watching the timeline. It is a guilty pleasure to see like the rise and the fall sometime. Like even the whole Liver King thing. Like, did you guys see
I
like
didn't.
you know, I'm promoting all these supplements and this healthy way of living, but 2 years later, actually I'm on steroids. Sorry about that. It's not the supplements.
But anyone
That's
who was
crazy.
watching his shit and looked at him, you're like, this is not natural.
No,
Like for all the people
dude,
that were so shocked, like, yeah, he was saying I'm a natural, whatever, but it's like, there's nothing natural about that.
no, your veins don't get that big just naturally doing bicep curls. Like you're like pumping stuff in there.
No, totally. Yeah, and they're just chasing something, and then eventually they fall off in a very large way. And apparently now he's like trying so hard to get on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like he's been following him around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, things can get pretty crazy.
I think it was a week ago we covered the documentary that Louis Theroux did on the Manosphere. Did you see that by chance?
I did. I enjoyed it.
The episode. Sorry, I didn't say properly. Our episode or the actual documentary itself. Did you see?
Oh, the doc.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's such an interesting topic, right? Because like I kind of feel like I'm supposed to be like helping out younger men in a sense with like my fitness content. And so it's just interesting to see this all play out, because on one hand, I do have feelings of like, you know, there are things you should do to be a quote unquote man, or just to step up and be a leader in general. But it's weird how people take different bits of that and turn it into something else. You know, it's like the guy that some of the guys that Louis Theroux interviews, you're like, yeah, we don't need to take it that far. You know, like, it's like, yeah, we don't need to tell young guys like that this is the pinnacle of what you should be chasing. But like, I understand maybe some of the intention that's behind it. And I feel like the internet's just a tough place, because it's like, it just feels like everything is like, you have to have an enemy to grow and to have a cause. So it's like, that's what I really got from that documentary, that you know, it's kind of this like, nah, women are evil. And like, you have to basically, to be a good man, you basically have to like take advantage of women and never trust them, and like be this alpha male provider, power type guy. And I understand where that might come from, but the delivery of the message, you know, can be a bit extreme, and yeah, not something I feel like our young men should be following, you know?
Yeah, it's because these nuanced topics are often given solutions that are completely void of nuance, especially if you can give a solution or pitch the problem in a way that makes sense to someone. Like, okay, conceptually, this makes sense, or especially if it's aligned with interactions that they've had. And so for the whole Manosphere thing, like anybody who's tried to talk to girls, doesn't matter who you are, you've gotten rejected at some point, and that was probably a painful experience. And so if they can poke that pain, they're going to listen, because it also validates their feelings and who they were. So yeah, I think we definitely need a lot more healthy, constructive male role models out there. And I'd say that you're definitely one of those. So yeah, it's It's just about giving people options. Do you know what I mean? And I do think that eventually over a long enough time horizon, people will see what kind of life that gives them acting like that. And I think that there will be a course correction.
I think so too. Yeah.
I saw one of the things that I'll shut up about this in a second, but Akash Singh, who's a comedian,
yeah,
he just had this clip or I just found this clip where he was kind of coming at Myron Gaines, the guys from the Fresh and Fit podcast, where he kind of calls them out on the fact that they say certain things, but then they kind of do different things, right? And he's like, look, if you're doing comedy, then do comedy. But if you're trying to actually provide advice to young men, then, like get that in check because you're not actually giving good advice. So let me play this real quick because I thought this was actually really good.
Corny is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period. Those are your roots. Those women are reflected in your roots. So if you're saying, hey, I don't generally date them, but I have more space for it, even though I still think it's a little corny.
Akash only dates brown. Akash has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife. That's an Indian woman.
So this is like loyal through and through.
Okay.
And I understand it's not as important for y'all, but as an Indian, there's not a lot of us who are famous. So whether you like it or not, people are looking at you as a role model. You guys have established yourselves as role models, from simps to pimps, which is another motto I find kind of corny, but I looked into what you guys are about. And a lot of the shit is just childish, which is fine if you want to be funny. We just talk about how doctors ain't shit for 45 minutes. We are not in any way life coaching. We are not in any way trying to help men outside of, hey, come have a laugh for a couple hours. Right. If you're going to paint yourself as life coaches and then say, like, my preference is, which is honestly, is I don't want to date black girls. That's the way every black dude that fucks girls says it. I've dated black girls in my life. All right, bro. Who the fuck hasn't except me? You know what I mean? Everybody gonna dabble in everything. It is the mentality that I have an issue with. And Alex is upset with the specific words, true, but underneath it, he's upset with the mentality. And a lot of stuff you guys say in general, I think is stuff that's kind of childish. I saw a clip where you were like, oh, the nuclear family's falling apart. What do? I don't get married. Just don't get married. You're actually trying to help men, or you talking to fucking incels who are 18 years old? That's some shit you say to college. I'm gonna turn you from a simp to a pimp. All right, bro. Can we grow up? You guys are self-help. You are, hey, we're trying to help men. So either we're funny or help men, and be real and be honest with yourselves, and don't have an ego like, no, I have a preference. Be honest. Let's just be mature about what we feel. And part of that maturity is, yeah, it was a bad joke. I don't actually feel exactly that way. I find corny.
Yeah. I've seen that clip.
So I hadn't seen that, but the points that he was talking about, besides the thing that I thought was interesting was him actually calling them out about, are you guys being funny or are you providing life advice, period? Because they are influencing people, and they're like, for someone who's maybe in some of our type of positions, it is more like comedy, right? Like, we're not taking these words and looking at that like, oh, this is how you should live your life. But for younger people who don't have that much of a structure, or who are trying to figure out what masculinity looks like or what it means to be a man and whatever, like, for sure, those words are being taken a lot more seriously, and it's creating a lot of just not the right type of.
Look at the documentary, right? Those guys that they showed that were the followers of it. Like they did take a lot of what was being said as gospel from these guys,
like quoting these guys. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, they got it written down in the notebook, ready to go.
Yeah, that's one thing on the internet that I find so annoying is like people regurgitating what they hear on the internet. Like, I'll see reels and I'm like, you just watched someone else say this. So now it's become a trend to say this. So now everyone's saying it. And I'm like, I always just think like, guys, we can all be individuals. Like, you can take things and bits and pieces and construct your own reality and thoughts. And you don't have to just be like, oh yeah, I heard that like women are like this. So like, and then, everyone's like, yeah, the nuclear family is like this. And, it's just, I feel like people are just repeating a lot of the things they hear from these people who get quickly rise to fame.
Yeah. Dooley says the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's, man, most of the internet is living, breathing proof of that in action, where everyone who knows very little, they're so confident about what they know only because they know so little.
Yeah, you said the word earlier, nuance. Like, one thing that I have always been impressed by and jealous of, I'll admit, is people who like it. I feel like I had to develop the confidence to be like, no, I have good ideas and I need to like share them. I used to be very like, nah, like if I say this, like I just overthink. And I've always been impressed by people who just have the confidence to be like, no, this is exactly how I feel. And then, but also those same people, sometimes you're like, you didn't really think too hard about that. You just kind of like, man, kudos to you. Like you really just bulldoze. If you want to do something, you just do it. But, you don't really like think through that, And I feel like, yeah, I do think there is a lot of confident, loud, stupid people, and a lot of really quiet, timid, insanely intelligent people.
That's very true. And I think that a lot of these behaviors get repeated because they're currently rewarded. And I don't think it's that good things or constructive things couldn't be rewarded. It just is objectively more difficult because of where the eyeballs currently are and how things get shared and saved. And so collectively, like you can avoid a lot of that stuff if you change what you engage with too, in terms of what you watch, what you share, what you save. Because we talk about the incentive structures on this show within social media all the time, and they're so broken. Like so many people are incentivized to hate all the time. And a lot of times, even the people hating, they just want to feel seen, right? Like they just want attention. And I've noticed that for so long that when you reply to these people and you try to be nice, like they weren't even hating, they just hate their life, they hate themselves. And so they're like, okay, if I do this, I'm more likely to get some sort of reaction, and some attention, even if it's negative, is better than nothing. Like we're getting this one person who's like commenting on every one of our stuff, Keith, like hating on us right now. It's like,
I'm just now seeing this in the Slack. What's going on?
There's this one, we have our first official hater where like they're going and replying to like everything, saying how much we suck. And then they came to all my posts and were like, beta, loser, all this stuff. And then, but they blocked me. So they can comment to my stuff, but I can't reply to them from memes markets. It's super weird, but you just got to think of the psychology of people's behavior. I always try to do like, what could the existence of that person be? Like, there's no time in my entire life where I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go comment on everybody's post telling them they're a loser. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
I think about this like, and this is no like self-righteous nothing. Like, it's just straight up the truth. If I don't, and by the way, I definitely am a hater. Like, there's things I hate on in my head because when I see someone write a paragraph of hate, I literally think to myself like, man, you just took how much time out of your day to write this? I'm literally not going to read this. I'm just going to go like that. And yeah, like what is the psychology of the person who like is finding that man-child video I made? A few of the comments were like, that's such a stupid hat. Like I had like this like teal hat on, and people were like, what a loser. Like, you trust fund kid, stupid hat. I was like, man, like I can't even imagine. I don't know. Like, I just going to someone's post and being like, it's about politics. And I'm just like, I hate your t-shirt. You're such a loser. Like, okay.
It makes me feel for them because I've never met someone who's happy with themselves that spews that stuff. Never in my life. And so if they're bringing that to you, they're probably bringing that to a lot of areas in their life as well. And they probably just don't enjoy their existence. But it's also like that cycle, if you don't break it in yourself, it's pretty hard for it to ever be broken. So I think people should always also analyze not just their behavior in their own mind, but also on social media and all these different places. Like, if you think that you're a hater, you should go look through all the comments you've posted on things. If there's even a little bit of hate in there, you kind of might be a hater. Because even if you're right in what you're saying in your hate, is that a good return on your time?
I know. Yeah. To try and... Yeah, it's just weird to be. Yeah, like if someone's going to have a perspective, I'm just kind of like, that's totally cool because this is your page and you're allowed to share your perspectives. I'm not going to follow you or like interact because I don't agree with it. So I'll just make my own content with my points to try and counteract it. But I'm not going to, just sit there and comment on things and act like get mad at someone and be, or like, I find it weird when people get interviewed. Now, there are some ones where this maybe doesn't apply and the interviewer should have been way more serious with the guest. But sometimes like on interviews, people will be like, I can't believe you didn't ask him this, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not your show. Like this person can ask whatever. It doesn't have to be your agenda. And like, people are like, you should have asked this guy this, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not your show. Like you can start a show and then answer this list of questions.
Dude, the entitlement of people all across the internet is just crazy. Like people want you to bend to whatever request or demand they have, but the impossibility of that is that everybody watching has different ones of those. So like if you even try to start playing that game, you will lose right away because someone will always hate whatever you do. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Someone will tell you that you're dumb for whatever you say.
Yeah, that's sort of the reason for my second channel. It's almost like an experiment. And if I'm able to tell the truth, if I'm able to not be swayed, I'll admit, like someone left a comment about me being a trust fund kid in one of the videos. And I felt this like feeling of like, I have to let my audience know that I'm not a trust fund kid. And I like worked hard for, and it was like, no, you don't. You just need to get on here and tell your truth. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to change your messaging. Like, and so yeah, it's almost, for me, it's an experiment of like, can I 100% say what I feel, even if some of those things are like, I'm kind of afraid to say it on the internet. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that I leave way fewer comments now that I've like been someone who's creating stuff.
You can't.
Yeah, it's just like I first off have more empathy for the people who are doing things, and I look at it from the perspective of, well, what if I were on the other side of this, and so on. And yeah, I totally look at it differently. It's like, if you're gonna leave a comment, it should probably be something that's helpful.
Yeah,
nice.
You know what my favorite thing to leave is? I love leaving hell yeah on people's like the most random things. If I just see like a reel I really like, could be, you know, someone singing in their kitchen, I'm just like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's
I love that. That's great. Andrew said in the chat, hating is fun. I also think another reason why, if you're a creator, you really shouldn't care about what you see is that there are people that are literally unpaid professional haters, or like they come here for their entertainment. And I found that this is like, I even knew people who used to do this, and then they stopped doing it because they're like, oh, I realized that I knew someone who made videos. And so I realized that that's somebody else's friend too, or somebody else's boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And I think more and more people are starting to create content where their family will see that this is a real human being on the other side of the screen. Whereas because we're on this, they kind of treat us as if it was like a TV character back in the day. Yeah. Right. Where they'd be like, oh, I don't like this person, so I now like professionally don't like this person. And so it's like, dude, I'm a dude, and it doesn't matter what I do, you're gonna have some sort of problem with it. So it's a very weird psychological thing.
Yeah, which, by the way, I do actually have a huge respect for the like actual trolls who like actually will just make screen names and like to get under your skin. Like when you recognize how silly it is, you're like, oh, you're good. Like that got me a little bit, but I see what you're doing. Like I know that you're making a joke of it versus like you're actually someone who's hurting, who's like, no, I want to like tear this person down.
Yes, totally. Yeah, very good distinction.
Fascinating behavior.
But I'm here for it, honestly. I feel like I'm in a state right now of observance. Like I'm really enjoying just like learning. Like, I mean, your guys' show has been hugely helpful. Like Ben, I've seen you on the show, but I haven't seen a lot of your personal stuff. So speaking more directly to Keith, like
for sure,
even just I'm just in a state of like, I love learning about different things and what's going on. And like, I'm into investing, but I'm definitely like more of a novice. And so like, I watch some of your videos just to, just to get informed. And I feel like we're in a really cool, interesting place on the internet where, there's a lot of bad stuff going on, but also like there's endless opportunity, and I'm kind of having fun, like watching how this unfolds, you know?
Yeah, you get to pick. That's one of the most powerful things about the internet, is that if you don't enjoy your experience, alter your experience, because you have that choice. People are always like, oh, shut down social media. It's like, social media is one of the best things that ever happened to us. It may have gone really bad because people didn't realized the guardrails that should be put in place, and definitely people got too big, too powerful, all that stuff. But I wouldn't have the career that I have without social media. I wouldn't know either of you guys if it wasn't for social media. So I don't think just blanket statement, social media or internet is the problem. I think it's how you use it, like anything else. It's like saying food is the problem. It's like, is it food or is it the ultra bad food that you know isn't good for you that you're eating?
100%. Yeah.
So, Keith, do you want to get into the news, or did you have anything else for Dan that you wanted to talk about?
Nothing else from me, man. Super grateful for the time and the conversation.
Before we get into the news, let's pop up his channel and let everyone see it. It's the first link in the description. So I put the jump rope dudes in there, but I'll also add your second channel as well in there too.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'll add this one in.
So this is the second channel where Dan's just talking to talk. And then there's also the jump rope dudes. Yeah. Over here, which is the big boy channel.
Yes.
That's all of the jump rope content and so on. And yeah, so when I first started getting some traction on YouTube, one of the videos that was getting a lot of attention that I made, it kind of had like, first off, I had no idea anyone was going to watch it. Right. So I made this video of like how I would talk to like my best friend about the situation with the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit more negative than, I would have wanted it to be if it was going to be something that 100,000 people were going to see.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was just talking into the void. And so it was like, the elite, they don't want you to see this information and like all this kind of stuff. Right. And it blew up, and just like the negativity that was in the comment section started to drive me crazy, because this was the first time I ever had a bunch of people commenting at one time. It was all kind of stuff about my looks. It was all kind of stuff about like how I didn't understand economics, and like all this different stuff at one time. And like shortly after that video, I was like, I need to make a second channel. Because like if I keep talking about these things that are going on in the world, and that like to some degree I think could be pretty nasty and gross and not things that are great, like I need to have a place where I can really just like be super positive and just talk about the things that I care about or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a really good decision for me. It was like having that second outlet where I could just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
So love.
Yeah, to compartmentalize it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So in a place to just do whatever, because you've expressed that you've been able to do some of yourself, but what I've seen from this channel so far is like you just kind of just talking, and it's providing a lot of value. It's something that I love to watch, and I can only imagine that it's just at the very beginnings, like you said, that channel is just like there right now, but I mean, if you keep doing what you're doing there, it will continue to grow and turn into something for sure that has a massive impact on people.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
100%.
And it already is, to be clear.
Yeah, it's already doing awesome.
Oh, thank you. You guys too.
I've added that now. So if you guys refresh the page, you will now see the links to both the personal channel and then also the workout channel as well.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. This has been a blast, and hope to continue to stay connected and share thoughts and ideas. And yeah, I feel like there's this little army of since I made that second channel, there's like there's other people that I follow too that are making similar types of videos that I'm like, maybe this is like my new, kind of venture thing getting into. I don't know what it could become, but I'm here for it.
Totally
Most
agree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Keith.
We'll definitely, I'm definitely open to finding ways to just keep the conversation going, collaborating as well.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much, Dan. It was an absolute pleasure chopping it up with you. Everyone here, go show Dan some love. Both channels linked down below. If you want to get some workouts in, go get one of the ropes. And if you want to hear more of Dan's thoughts, definitely check out the more personal channel as well.
Appreciate you guys. I will, I'll hit the
leave button whenever you're good.
Cool. Yeah, no, again, I'll reach out to you. Yeah, we'll talk offline, but super appreciative, and keep doing your thing, guys. I love the show. So.
You too, man. Appreciate you loads, Dan.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Peace, man.
Smooth exit. He's a professional.
He's a pro.
What a good dude.
Yeah, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, you just tell like good energy, good vibes, wants good for people. That's really what the show's about. So Thank you, Dan, for coming on, and definitely everyone here. And if you're watching the replay after the fact, definitely go show them some love.
Yes. Yes, sirs. All right. Well, folks, anything that you guys got to say? If not, let me tell you.
Chat. Got some
I got some news.
We got some news. The world's crazy, man. The world's crazy.
Man, this past 24, 48, 72, what comes after that? 80, 86.
Well, especially because Keith's been making some short form videos that have been popping too. So you've been getting a ton of attention on short form platforms too.
Yeah, guys. I think almost at the viral limit. I listened to this girl, Adley Kinsman. You know, who she is. I think she said like for herself. She's not saying that this is the standard all the time, but she said for herself like 5 million is viral. And we got one that's sitting at I think like 4.2 million views on Instagram.
Yeah,
so we're
wild.
close to like that threshold of viral.
Yeah, I think anything over 1 mil is pretty viral for sure.
Yeah, once you're hitting over 1 mil, at least there's also such a big difference between 1 mil on short form versus long form too.
Oh, it's completely different. It's a sheer top of funnel play where people know that you exist, that when they eventually see our YouTube thumbnails, they're more inclined to click, even though they don't realize why.
Yeah. Like my 1 million on the bond video, that was like
different.
Like if I had certain things in place, like that would have completely changed my life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the difference in terms of just interest and quality of the engagement too. And you can see that simply from the comments as well, like on the short form stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
And we say this all the time, but don't spend a lot of time on short form platforms. They're just very toxic places for the most part.
Yeah, bro. It's insane. But yeah, so I guess let's jump into this news. What a Sell also said is that the Keith D channel. The Keith D channel is the channel where I just talk mostly about like finance and economics, but there's another channel.
Which is called the Inner Operator, right?
Yeah. But yeah, let's dive into the news.
Do it.
I got some news, folks. Just earlier this week, we heard that the Department of Labor is proposing rules that would allow Bitcoin into 401ks. And yeah, so this is something that would increase the potential retirement investment options for more than 90 million Americans. Okay. This basically, it's just a proposal right now from the Department of Labor, but this is going on. Get Bitcoin into the retirement accounts. Any initial thoughts on something like that, Ben?
I think it's pretty well an inevitable thing that will happen. There'll probably be a lot of fighting on it short term, but the price will just appreciation will probably make it so that people are happy about it eventually. And what I do also think that the more that mainstream money gets involved with this, the volatility that people have come to know, love, or hate with Bitcoin or any crypto, that'll probably start to diminish as more and more people get involved. So it'll be probably a lot more like the stock market.
I think that's a fair take, man. We've already seen a lot of the volatility continue to come out of it. I mean, so far, Bitcoin as an experiment has felt like, or statistically, the volatility has declined over time, right? And it could be a function of the fact that there's more money in the market. It could be a function of the fact that there's more people in the market. Mm-hmm. It's something that continues to play out for sure. Moving forward, we had earlier this week, there's supposed to be the Senate has confirmed an April markup for the Clarity Act. So sometime in the second half of April, they're looking to actually get closer to passing this Clarity Act legislation. We don't know exactly what's in this side of the bill just yet. I think this week they were going to start to put it out, if I'm not mistaken. But there seems to have been some progress that's been made in Washington about this bill. Some people are saying there's progress. Some people are saying, like, I don't think that there's really been any actual progress. I think they're just going to try to move forward with what they have, but we'll see how it all goes down. Moving forward, we have Binance going to launch oil and gas futures, I think today, potentially, with up to 100x leverage, which is fascinating, to say the least.
That's a lot, is it not?
It is. It is. Most American financial products, you're not going to get access to that kind of leverage, and they probably won't necessarily be able to offer this to US users. But yeah, so but that's crypto, man. There's always 100x leverage and stuff everywhere. It's kind of crazy.
Truly wild. The speculative nature of finance in general is symptomatic of where we are.
Gotta make the dough somehow, is how these people
roll
are
the
looking at
dice,
it.
man.
Yeah. And it's obviously interesting, you know, oil and gas futures. I mean, this is really a reaction to what was happening on Hyperliquid, I believe, right? Because there was some oil futures that were being traded on Hyperliquid over the weekends while everyone was trying to figure out what was going to happen next. And so Binance, I guess, identified, well, there must be demand for this product, and so let's launch this ourselves as well.
Got it.
So another thing that's happened over the past 72 hours is Claude Code. Source code was apparently leaked through basically a file in their NPM registry, which is like a dependency, I believe, or like a dependency. Yeah, actually, I have no idea what I'm talking about, so let me stop. But essentially, there are key pieces of infrastructure that people use to run applications. And what they'll do as a developer, what you'll do is you'll reach out and download these dependencies or these different pieces of software that allow you to run certain applications, that allow you to create certain applications. And so what can happen is, oh, you needed to update something in your code base, or you needed to update something on the project that you're working on. And so you'll reach out to these servers, download these new materials to update everything to make sure that it's all functioning and make sure that you don't have any bugs or whatever. And when you do that, obviously you've downloaded something from the internet. Well, there was an injection that was made in one of these major kinds of dependency, I don't know if it's the right word to call it, of things that they were downloading, right? So they're downloading this thing, but there was something that was malicious in that code, but everyone is like kind of just updating their code all the time, whatever. And when they did that, there was some sort of a bug in the code. I think I'm actually mixing two different events in one. Yeah, I'm definitely mixing up two different events in one, which was this thing right here. So anyways, there was another thing that happened where you had a massive injection, like I was just trying to describe. And that was totally separate from this event. But so anyways, Claude Code also had their actual source code leaked is what happened. So totally mixed those two stories up right there. My apologies.
You're good. You're good.
But moving forward, we had Allbirds.
Like the shoe company?
I think that's what it is. Selling to American Exchange Group for $39 million. Did you hear anything about that?
No, 39 million. That seems like a big drop off from where they were.
That's correct. I believe the company had reached somewhere close to like a multi-billion-dollar valuation at one point in time.
Yeah. I hate apparel companies in terms of like, I would never want to invest in an apparel company. That's such a hard business.
Once valued at over $4 billion, has sold for $39 million.
That's absurd.
It's like 1%, right, of their valuation.
Well, they kind of are like very much targeted to the middle class, which is evaporating before our eyes, for one. And then, like any sort of trend-based thing, which these shoes kind of were, they were a unique take on a running shoe. I actually had a pair before, and there was nothing like crazy special about them. So that's not like shocking to see them fall, because even Nike is suffering. Like a lot of those major apparel companies are not doing very well because that's so consumer driven. Like, do people have enough extra money to go buy shoes they don't need?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, I mean, totally agreed that trying to get into a business like that, you'd have to have, or at least I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily want to be in it. Retail as well is also just something that's not great.
There's so many things you can't control, which is always like my biggest concern with entering. That's also why I've only ever tried one physical product-based business, and it was so much harder. Like it was just such a nightmare to do because there's so many things that can go wrong, and you're depending on so many people that probably don't care about your business to make it successful or not. Right? Like
True.
Let's say you hire an employee and they give people a horrible experience. You've probably never even met the person who did that, but now forever that person's going to associate your brand with a bad experience.
Facts, man. No doubt about it. The next piece that we've got here is Google sounding the alarm on quantum. So
this was everywhere yesterday.
Yeah, it was going crazy. Basically, quantum computing is very rapidly approaching the ability to be able to crack crypto. And people are freaking out about this and saying that Bitcoin needs to upgrade immediately, right? To not have this become a massive issue. So, yeah, there was a video that you sent me, Ben, about this. You think it's worth trying to play that one?
You can try. You can if you can find it. But like, why it's the very big deal is because that's kind of one of the biggest core principles of what makes Bitcoin valuable is the fact that it is secure. And so if this could threaten that, that kind of undermines a lot of what Bitcoin is trying to do. And so the permissionless or the open source nature of it is a pro and a con, because that was people's argument for whenever you say, okay, if this has been corrupted, my bank is long since done. Well, they're like, okay, well, that's a centralized entity that can make changes way faster than someone could on Bitcoin. Right. So I'm hearing a lot of echo. But yeah, so that's definitely a big thing where it's perfect timing because we're having Jeff Booth on tomorrow. So I can't think of a better person to come on and talk about this, because he always talks about all of his thesis is dependent on Bitcoin remaining decentralized and secure.
Totally, man. Yeah, it was super, super exciting to hear that. There was also the clip of him talking about why it won't matter. I'm going to be very interested to try to pick his mind on that, because that video that you sent me, man, I don't think that helped me at all.
No.
No, I was very lost. But so I'll have to bring him down to my level on explaining why quantum is not as much of a threat.
That's one of the biggest problems I think all the Bitcoins people have, is that they all talk to each other almost exclusively, because they kind of see like, oh, you're either a Bitcoiner or you're not. And that's kind of split the world in two in their eyes. And so the problem with that is that they're so far removed from the people that they would need to adopt the technology for their core thesis to probably ever happen. So there's a serious communication problem there. And I'm really hopeful that we can make tomorrow's episode awesome to try to translate some of this stuff. And also, I think that Jeff said it probably enough times that with the right questions, it's probably very doable.
No doubt. No doubt. So the next piece, man, is really just to talk a little bit about what's going on with this military operation that's happening in the Middle East. So right now, it's nonstop headlines, so it's kind of hard to really give you this in any sort of a sequence. But this was as of 2 days ago. Trump was reportedly willing to end the Iran war, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. And then yesterday, there was also a quote of him basically saying this is going to be over in 2 to 3 weeks, and that the United States is willing to leave without a deal as well. So Trump is supposed to make a major announcement tonight. He's going to have a press conference at 9 p.m. Eastern, where he's addressing the United States about potentially this war. We don't technically know exactly what it is. A lot of people are saying that he's going to talk about NATO and pulling out of NATO and talk bad about NATO. And basically how potentially they're going to just leave, as is what we're kind of seeing. So some more of his words specifically were on his Truth Social. All of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you, which is to go over there and basically take it yourself. He says you'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil, he said. So since things have continued to develop, Iran has started to strike American companies. They struck an Amazon, and servers hosting Amazon Web Services in Bahrain have been hit. This was as of today, this morning, we were hearing this. And in fact, Iran also basically very recently said that they will, they're going to start attacking American companies in the region. So they told like all of them to leave, essentially.
Wow. And the data centers things, or cloud computing centers, is such a point of vulnerability because it's fairly easy to take out, I would assume. And look at how much the internet freaks out when AWS goes down for a few hours, man. We're so reliant on this stuff.
Yeah, facts. I'm sure there'll be some contingency to where, once again, hopefully American, or I don't know, hopefully just apparently maybe, you know, there will be some contingencies and redundancies that prevent that problem from hitting people in other parts of the world. I don't really know how that works, but definitely fascinating to see that that's what the attack vector of this war is.
Yeah. So when you get compute from these cloud service providers, at least how it works on AWS, because most of my apps are powered through that, is like you pick the region in which it's pulling the compute from. And so that's why basically when there's outages, they're usually isolated to one area. And so you could, like, sometimes some of my products will be more impacted than others, like vice versa.
Gotcha. Kind of like with a VPN, right? Like where would you want it to kind of come out of?
Sort of deal. Yeah. But once it's set up, like, it's difficult to change on the fly. You can't really do that.
Gotcha.
So basically very select services will get impacted because they set up the infrastructure pulling from a specific place.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense because when you're building stuff like, you know, it does exist on an actual computer somewhere.
Yes, it's there somewhere. Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, so here's the official piece on that, or not official, I guess, but here, what we're hearing is Iran has called on all employees of Google, NVIDIA, Apple, IBM, Tesla, Intel, and Cisco to leave the companies by 8 p.m. Tehran time on Wednesday, which is today, April 1st, 8 p.m. in Tehran, which is, I think, about right now. After that, they're going to start to hit these centers up. Yeah, so anyways, that's kind of what we're seeing coming out of all of this. There was an idea this morning that was being put out that Iran is potentially looking for a ceasefire, and then Iran's foreign ministry responded after President Trump's claims that they asked for a ceasefire, saying that president's claims that Iran requested a ceasefire are false and baseless. I woke up to seeing the ceasefire and I waited for this then news to come out because I figured that would come out. And then Iran also apparently came out and said that the Strait of Hormuz will not reopen based on President Trump's absurd displays. So anyways, the other piece of this that's happened is the UK Prime Minister, as well as the Prime Minister of Australia and also Donald Trump, have all over the last 24 hours said that they were going to come out and make an announcement or address their nation. So far, both Keir Starmer and Albanese from Australia have already made their statements. Australia, basically what he said was, it was a really weird thing where he came out and he said, everything is fine, which is a really weird thing to block off all the news stations to say.
That's all that's all that was said.
Like what he said was, there's nothing to worry about. If you can, stop using gas, like start using public transportation if you can. But that was it, really. You know,
I guess they kind of have to do that stuff because things are going so crazy on social media. Like, look at even our clip, right? Like your clip that you posted has like 4.7 million views, right?
True. Yeah. So this guy was like, how long does this become? Please take the train to, you have to take the train or whatever. But no telling exactly what's coming. And then for Keir Starmer out of the United Kingdom, the message was a lot longer, I think, or at least it was more about UK's not getting involved in this conflict, even though they have continued to kind of been pressured, right? We just saw Trump saying, you guys go get your own oil. And they're like, look, we're not getting involved. And Keir Starmer also very bluntly, he more specifically said, like, this is going to impact our country. right? And this will not be easy were words that came out of his mouth around the whole situation here with the war in Iran. So we don't know what Trump's going to say just yet, but like I said, there's been some circulations of him saying we're going to get out of NATO and try to lay out the plan for the 2 to 3 weeks of how they get out. Another thing here, this is not the foreign minister, but the head of the parliament in Iran made this tweet this morning. He said, out of context quotes and manufactured FOMO equal war profiteering 101. Do your own research. So the guy is just kind of coming out and like basically telling people how to play the conflict from the market's perspective, as well as, you know, basically don't listen to the Trump administration. They're all lying. It's kind of what he's on social media doing. It's kind of crazy. It's like this Twitter beef between Trump and this guy who's the head of parliament in Iran. But in general, my kind of take on all of this is that as long as the Strait of Hormuz is not fully opened, yesterday there were some reports that traffic did start to pick up a little bit. From the graphics that I was seeing, it wasn't significant, but people were acting like it was such a big deal. I'm like, bro, like nothing changed. There's not a whole lot of traffic flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, but the fact that there's anything happening is definitely a good thing. If the Strait of Hormuz continues to stay closed like this, we're already seeing like some countries have 48 hours, right, until the stuff starts to hit them or whatever. We saw JP Morgan put out a report that said, look, around mid-April, things are going to start to hit other people and pretty much everyone at that point. So it's continuing to develop. Hopefully there's an off-ramp to this. Like the thing that I like to think about is what's the incentive for things to not get figured out? It's not a very good incentive unless there is some alternative agenda. You know what I mean? Just to be honest, which is possible. But yeah, so anyways, we'll see how this continues to play out. But so far, nothing too crazy.
That's what I heard some people say yesterday was, do you think there's some sort of method to this madness where we'll look back on it in a few months and think like, oh, okay, like there was a plan to this? I'd say the chances of that are fairly low, but I don't know. Like it's entirely possible. I don't know anything about anything, so it could be like that. And I certainly hope that these things get randomly resolved very quickly and it was all part of a bigger plan that makes our lives better, but I'm probably delusional in that hope.
No, yeah, I mean, it's funny because I almost continue to, well, I definitely continue to get sucked into this idea that there's something there. I just, you know, I've had a bunch of comments come in on my post, like, why would you ever even listen to anything that Trump says anyways? Like, like he's always lying. I'm just like, I guess I'm still wanting to take, like, he's saying things, you know what I mean? Like I have to take some of that as data, as information, right? Of something that I could work with to some degree. But at the same time, you know, things continue to march in a direction to where it's like, I don't know if he is saying anything. Like maybe you just literally don't listen to anything that he's saying at all.
But they usually put some truth amidst the bullshit.
That's what I would like to believe.
I'm sure if you studied enough, you could probably find some tells. I'm surprised there haven't been more social, like,
yeah, true, people
that have gone through all of this stuff and be like, hey, here was truth, here was lies, because everyone has tells to a degree. But yeah, it is what it is. I think you got to have your own tolerance with it, consume what you can without going crazy. But this person, Mary, had a really interesting point that I would love to talk about with you, Keith. Yeah. So crypto is a human-made product versus gold/silver as a product made by a higher power. So I would argue that a little bit, because I think that it to actually get the gold or the silver required human involvement, right? And so how is that different from writing code to create this thing? If a higher power made us, how is that any different?
It's an interesting idea. I mean, there's also the use of it, right? Like we've also come up with the use for gold.
We created a utility through us.
Yeah.
True. So then what's the difference between, why couldn't we do that with something digital as well?
For sure. That's a great question and thought for
Super good. Yeah. Oh, really good. Yeah, actually, Mary, come back with that tomorrow, because that's really, really good. And also I'm going to finish listening to his book again in preparation for tomorrow, because I really want to make that great. But if you guys have any questions for Jeff that you want us to ask, definitely let us know, because that'll be a good one.
Yeah, legitimately, if I were, I'm going to be preparing questions for Jeff and have been. Um, it's not that he's just some crazy amazing human being. It's just he has published his thoughts, right, and he's continued to elaborate on his thoughts, and these are very unique things that are being said. So there's a cool opportunity here to ask him really good questions that can make. I think he's really at the edge of what's happening with humanity and how technology is going to help us get to a better place or potentially hurt a lot of people and push us into a bad direction. And I really don't know that there's not anyone like him who's saying what he's saying.
Yes.
Right about this.
That's a great way to put it. And we are at a fork in the road, right? We're going to go somewhere from here. Something's got to give, basically. And you can feel that in everything you do, everything you touch, every person you talk to. There's this uneasy feeling. And to me, it feels like we are, when dogs can like hear the lightning before it strikes and kind of deal like that. I feel like as humans, we have similar abilities.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like that's what this is. And so, Jeff's proposing, even if he's like way off, these kinds of conversations are the most important thing right now, because a lot of suffering, poverty really exists because of our very outdated and flawed systems, and they're going to usher in new ones regardless. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're definitely walking into a whole new situation. Sorry, Jeff Booth, because we probably haven't fully said it.
But also, why I find his point of view so interesting is because he does have a lot of experience with online entrepreneurship, from what it sounds like. And in his book that was published, when was it actually published? Because he talked about AI and predicted things with pretty great precision. So let me see when it was released to see how impressive these predictions were. But yeah, that'll be a great episode. Definitely tune in. When was it released? It was released in January 2020. So 6 years ago. So those predictions are fairly impressive given that then, because he said a lot of it with some pretty strong conviction. And I also love with him is that he gets a lot of hate because he's currently saying things that just are going against how everybody thinks. And he has this one line that he repeats all the time where he says the natural state of the free market is deflationary. That's his thing. And so if you go to older episodes that he's talked on, I saw this one comment that was upvoted a ton, was like, opening line on a date: what's the natural free market? Or what's the natural state of a free market? I was like, that's a qualifying question for a date.
That is perfect.
But it'll be super good.
Yeah, I'm super excited because I'm gonna have a lot of opportunities to feel dumb, and I'm just gonna rock with it. I'm gonna lean into it.
I actually think that's good though, because almost everyone he's spoken to, I don't know if maybe they're mysticized by who he is. They don't say like, I know my mom wouldn't know what you're saying. Can we try to say it? Can we think of an example here where maybe that would make it click?
Yeah. And this time I won't have to even think about it like that. I'll be like, sir, for me. But yeah, man. I got some stuff that I got to get your reaction to, Ben.
Go for it, man.
So Kalshi, one of these popular prediction market platforms, has launched this new campaign, and it's kind of making waves all over the internet. And it's super fascinating because this is all in the middle of this kind of major debate that's happening around these prediction markets platforms. Are they legal? Should they be legal? And in what way? And Kalshi has clearly tried to distinguish themselves from Polymarket. Is basically what's happened over the past week here. They're like, look, we are not that. This is what they do. This is what we do. And this campaign is, in a way, kind of directly touching on that. So they put this out a couple of days ago, said not all prediction markets are the same. Some are regulated in the United States, some aren't. Kalshi is, which they're pointing directly at Polymarket. It came out over the past couple of days that Polymarket is registered in, like, what is it, like the Cayman Islands or something like that? I don't actually know. Somewhere offshore, and I didn't know that technically. So they said rule number 1, we ban insider trading and we enforce it. Okay, so this is like hanging off of a building somewhere. Rule number 2, no death markets. Not in the US, they are illegal. And I thought that was an interesting statement to make. And imagine you see this on your park or your bus bench. Like,
if you have to say that about your product, I think the product is kind of messed up, man.
It's madness, bro. And then like also like you don't do it because it's illegal. You know what I mean? Like that was the thing that came to my head, and I did see someone else comment on that. And then this guy also said, "Not in the U.S. is doing a lot of work here." It's like, okay, do you do it somewhere else? And then someone else, yeah. So this guy said, "Look, what type of sales pitches? We are slightly less amoral than our competitors."
That's what I was thinking. Exactly.
And then I'm trying to see. Yeah, this guy said, "But only because they're illegal." Like, exactly, bro. Like, what is going on here exactly? So, interesting campaign here. Definitely a little bit controversial, and them trying to distinguish themselves against Polymarket. Any initial thoughts on any of that?
I just think the whole prediction market thing in general is so crazy. But I do think that these may be the things that wake everyone up to how far things have gone with gambling and how bad that it is. Because so many people's lives are being silently destroyed by these things because it's culturally normal, right? If it's been normalized, it's just like, okay, it's just taking an L. Like I sent a video to you, I think it was last night, where there was like, it was something like, oh, what was it? It was something about they're having horrific, painful losses. And they're like, should I tell my girlfriend about it or something like that? And it had hundreds of thousands of likes. I'll try to find it.
Oh, like the losses in the market, you're saying?
It was about gambling.
Oh, and gambling. Gotcha.
Yeah. And the video had so many likes. I couldn't believe it.
It's kind of wild too, because I mean, there's this whole culture around like that being a joke too. There's like this joke where it's like, I told my wife I lost $100,000, but I actually only lost $50,000. So I have a $50,000 buffer
to bet with. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's become so normalized. But I do think this is the year where there's probably a bit of a counterforce.
No doubt, man. Funny enough, the non-counterforce here, Jamie Dimon, is signaling that JP Morgan will actually enter prediction markets as competition surges. This just came out a couple hours ago. So JP Morgan is weighing a move into prediction markets as crypto firms, startups, and rivals like Goldman Sachs race to dominate the fast-growing sector.
Anything to make money.
It's crazy, man. And then there was a specific statement here. He said, it's possible one day we'll do something like that. He said, though he ruled out offerings in sports or politics. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't read it like that the first time I saw it, but I'll take these people's word for it because it's CoinDesk. He said, there's a bunch of stuff we won't do, and obviously we have strict rules around insider information. So, yep, they're moving into it. So here we go. And then another thing that's breaking the internet at the moment is this situation with Kit Kat. Did you see the situation with Kit Kat?
I saw people talking about it. I didn't see the source.
Okay, so apparently there were some thieves that stole 12 tons of Kit Kat bars in Europe chocolate heist. Oh, really? CNN makes you pay? Interesting.
They all do, man.
Geez, CNN. I'm not paying for CNN. I mean, come on. That should be free. But essentially, there was, and this was a few days ago, right? So it could be leading up to some big major April Fool's joke. I don't know yet. They're basically saying it's not. But it was some shipment that was going from, I think it was like somewhere from Poland. It was leaving Italy and going to Poland, and the shipment didn't make its way to Poland. And so Kit Kat put out this official statement saying that we can confirm that 12 tons of Kit Kat products were stolen while in transit between our factory in central Italy and their destination in Poland. We are working closely with local authorities and supply chain partners to investigate. The good news, there are no concerns for consumer safety and supply is not affected. Thank you. I don't really know how you could confirm that there's no concerns for consumer safety. I just thought about that, right? Because if someone has your Kit Kat, then you don't know what they're doing to that Kit Kat, and then they could just start distributing it. So how could there just be no consumer safety problems?
I guess they're saying from their official distributors, but how could you possibly govern unofficial distributors, or even like your official distributor could buy some from this person?
Right. Okay. So maybe that's what it is, because maybe they could say like, well, if once it gets to somewhere, if it's a part of this batch, then don't sell it. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I'm very curious to stay up to date with that to see if it is an April Fool's joke or something.
So the internet ran with this, right? So a bunch of companies started doing their own weird little official statements. So Domino's Pizza in the UK said, "We would like to share our thoughts and condolences with Kit Kat following their recent sad news. On a completely unrelated note, we're pleased to announce that we'll be selling a new Kit Kat pizza."
That's funny.
So you had quite a few of those going on. Here's Ryanair tweeting about the Kit Kat situation. And then 7-Eleven, we present to you our new Kit Kat flavored drink.
Whenever things get this big, I'm always very skeptical that this is organic.
For sure. I mean, this one especially because it's not that much of a bit. Like I you know what I mean? Like it's really not that funny. You know? But yeah, so people have been kind of making these jokes about, you know, somebody pulled up with a bunch of Kit Kat, like should I report them or whatever kind of a thing. And so anyways, when other companies are putting out announcements that are not about that, people are like, what? Like, what's going on? So White Castle said after, this was a White Castle in Las Vegas, he said, after 10 incredible years, we've made the difficult decision to close their White House or whatever. And then somebody was like, wait a minute, I thought that this was, with all the brand posts popping up today, I thought this was another Kit Kat bit. There was another one that happened in the sports realm where some like guy was getting transferred or whatever. And it was like, is this a Kit Kat thing? So anyways,
how many
today,
Kit Kats is 12 tons? Sorry to cut you off.
It was 400,000 Kit Kats.
Okay.
430 something thousand or something like that. So they put out an official statement today in response to the other official statements saying, thank you for your interest in the missing Kit Kats. But just to clarify, this is not a stunt or an April Fool's joke. Someone really stole 12 tons of Kit Kats, and we really want to know where they've gone. So we've created a stolen Kit Kat tracker that lets you check if your Kit Kat is from the missing batch.
There's no way this is organic.
You see what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm like, okay, well, now you're milking it, right? So I actually
there's
went
no
to the
way.
site.
It's the campaign.
I went to the site and they went to the stolen Kit Kat tracker. And
It's like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it's like, did you win the golden ticket kind of a thing? That could be, I guess, how they're doing it. Yeah, so they have a Kit Kat tracker. I was a little bit nervous to go onto the site. I guess they have my information now, but
yeah,
that's what's going on in the world.
That's some BS. Yeah, that's definitely manufactured, but that's interesting. I wonder how long they'll ride that.
You know, someone put out a tweet today I saw where it was like, you know, here it is. He said, April Fool's doesn't really hit the same in a misinformation epidemic.
Bro, every day it's like April Fool's. Like, yeah, we're so numb.
So, yeah. And then there was these guys making fun of like crypto projects. Crypto projects love to do April Fool's jokes. Somebody was like, dude, like if you're a crypto project and you have a token, do not make an April Fool's joke. Like, dude, that's so dumb. You can tank the price of your token and your project and like it won't come back. You know what I'm saying? Once you kill that trust, it's gone. So anyways, yeah, just fascinating times that we live in where, yeah, there's just way too much going on for an April Fool's joke to really land.
Totally.
So another thing that has been circulating around the internet is that OpenAI shut down Sora. We talked about that last week. And now there's kind of some information coming out about like how was it actually doing during that time that it was around. This Polymarket tweet has said that OpenAI Sora video platform was reportedly losing around $1 million per day before they decided to shut it down. I even saw some other reports that there was a day where they probably lost somewhere close to like $25 million in a day, just probably on the launch when everyone was starting to use it at once. And then there was some other piece about this that I thought was interesting. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was just like, it's just in general. This idea that a lot of AI companies are giving away a lot of compute at unprofitable prices.
Yeah. They're getting everyone hooked. They'll eventually charge way more.
And just imagine that, right? Like your business is dependent upon these things in 1 year from now, and they just 5x the price.
Yeah. Well, I think the winners will have won so big, they'll pay it.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. And so it'll be very fascinating to see how this continues to play out.
Yeah, I'm trying to milk it as much as I can while it's not crazy expensive.
No doubt, man. Okay, so moving forward, there's this MIT study that's circulating right now talking about how they've basically mathematically proven that ChatGPT is designed to make you more delusional. The paper calls it delusional spiraling, where you ask ChatGPT something, it agrees with you, you ask again, and then it agrees harder. Within a few conversations, you believe things that are not true, and you cannot tell that this is happening.
Yeah, I wonder, how does that prove it's designed to do that?
I guess just by prompting it.
No, but I'm saying that's assigning intent to a machine.
I don't know how.
Well, you're saying that it's designed to make people more delusional. How could you possibly know that? The outcome could be cause and effect, I'm saying.
Well, that's what I think that's all that you're saying when you're saying that it's designed in a certain way. Like if the design of the prison system is that you end up coming out worse off, that's all that I'm saying. Like I'm only saying that it's designed in a way where this is the result. Not that you meant for that to be the result. They're not saying that the developers, right, are designed to create these outcomes. They're not saying that it's an inevitable outcome of the developers developing AI. They're saying that the system itself is designed in a way where this is the outcome, which is delusional spiraling.
Okay.
That's how I interpret that, at least.
No, I totally understand. I just think that's yeah, it's an interesting way of phrasing. It's definitely great for spreading.
So they called the paper sycophantic chatbots cause delusional spiraling even in ideal Bayesians, which is a type of statistical thing.
Seeing the penalties that social media companies are now having to pay for their products being addictive and manipulative and stuff like that. Like, you definitely got to think about these things. But for me, you had to be looking the complete other direction to not realize that was going on for like a decade.
The social media companies getting blamed for the addictive nature of the platforms?
Deliberately making it addictive. They said it out loud.
Oh,
like,
okay.
They weren't trying to hide that. So I'm just confused as to, is that just how slow governments and bureaucracy moves, where like it takes that long for that to be a thing? Or is that deliberate?
I mean, that's an interesting thought. My mind goes to the idea that from a legal perspective, you need the damages to accumulate to a level to where it's worth it.
It's where you can't fair. Yeah. It's where they can't argue it. There's enough of a chance for you to win. Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah.
That's like we're seeing in a lot of people doing online businesses right now, where people are doing anything. They're breaking so many laws, dude. Like there's a lot of things going viral right now on Twitter where people will use social proof within their app store listing or whatever, saying like trusted by 1 million users, and they launched it that day. It's like, yo, what? And then because a lot of these people are very young kids, and so they're like, everyone does it, who cares? It's like, well, everyone might get sued at some point, brother.
Yeah.
The ones that survive, at least.
I definitely think about that stuff too, because, well, especially once you have this new administration and then they're talking about like using AI and stuff to upgrade all their systems. My first thought was obviously like the IRS itself, right? Like if they get good enough at what they're doing, like people are going to be like auto audited. You know what I mean? Or some stuff like that. But even in the FTC and other agencies, that could totally become a thing.
I don't even know if we'll have to submit tax returns in the next 5-10 years. They'll probably just automatically do it.
That would be pretty cool.
It'd be cool.
To some degree.
There's pros and cons for sure. But yeah, it probably would be fairly automatic.
Yeah. Some there's ways in which that could be cool, you know, depending upon how they administer that kind of a thing. Moving forward here, this is not real. I'm going to let you guys know up front, but I thought it was a very interesting idea. Gucci launching luxury baby diapers.
The top of the K.
So I thought that this was a very interesting thought experiment. I didn't know if it was real or not at first, but I still think it's worth sharing because it just shows a lot of humanity, right? So this guy just said, this is the biggest proof that brands were created to make fun of people. I swear, even if one of the world's richest people buys it, there's no mind in it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just to me, like to me, this isn't really all that different than any Gucci product. Like it all is that in a way.
All brand names are, yeah, that's what they're doing, right? They're selling, I have this, you don't.
So it's such an interesting concept, man, when you really, really think about it. And especially, I guess, look, like my thing, I'll always have a soft spot for cars, right? Because there is an engineering aspect to it, right? There is an actual function to the thing.
But people say that about whatever they like.
But like, yes, see, and I know it. I know it to a degree. But at the same time, listen.
I almost done it.
It's still definitely a thing that you don't need to have. But like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, it has a physical, real thing that you can experience that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Like for me, it's same thing with a plane. Like, so I'm just a motorsports guy. I guess is kind of how it all comes down to. Like, you have different kinds of planes. You know, some just get you from one place to another.
Mm-hmm.
But like a fighter jet, like there's only so many people in the world who will ever get to fly a fighter jet, right? And those are people that are pilots in the military. But with a car, it's a little bit more democratized. If you have the money, then you can have the experience of going that fast in a car.
But not legally.
Oh, if you take it to a track.
Yeah, okay. Hey, so what kind of fancy car are you going to buy with your yacht studio?
The both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive my car on the yacht. No, it's not even like that, man. It's just like, I don't need to own that. I just want to be able to experience it from time to time. You know what I mean?
So which car comes to mind when you think about that?
Oh, come on. There's plenty. There's plenty of them.
Hit me with a few.
I'm
not a car guy.
They're not paying me for this.
Okay. So no free promos. I was just curious because I'm not a car guy whatsoever. So to me, people will be like, "Oh my God, that guy has that car," and I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just never heard about that stuff.
Yeah, and see, like, it's just there's so many things about a car, man. Like, there's the way that it sounds. For me, something that's really cool. You know.
Are you one of those guys that when they hear a car, they like turn, look at it, and
like,
you know exactly what it is?
I actually am that person.
Wow.
It happens when I'm out. I'm like, oh, I can hear exactly what that is in the distance. Usually the size of the engine is the more easy thing to be able to tell.
Got it.
But sometimes you can tell what it is too.
What a sale said: studio first, then car and plane later. Yeah, I think that's a good order of priorities. And then Tio had a point here saying cars are a tough one because any logical buyer would just buy Japanese, but low road noise, light steering, gliding on the road, nothing beats that experience. What are Japanese manufacturers? Like Subaru, I believe, is one.
Japanese manufacturers: Subaru, Ski, Nissan. Toyota.
Oh, Toyota's pretty classic. Mazda's Japanese too.
That sounds proper.
Mazdas are. I had a Mazda. They're like a great entry level car, and they're probably built better now. But the old ones used to rust like crazy and break down fairly frequently. But what a sale loves cars. I want Gucci flip flops.
Like it's just so different. Like, come on, Ben. Come on. Like you wear something and the only excuse that you can make for something that you're wearing is like, oh, well, it has the purpose of me like signaling status. A car is not like that. Like a car, yes, it does have that aspect to it because of the design or whatever, but like it actually has the ability to get you from one place to another quicker, faster. It's fun. Like it's very, very different to me than wearing clothes, bro.
I get it. Yeah. Whatever you like, I think is the most core thing. And then also understanding why you're doing it in the first place is an important thing. But I'm sure some people, like I have a buddy who's obsessed with bougie clothes and watches and shit. And he'll go on and on trying to rationalize his purchases to me by the technology within the watch. I'm like, shut up, man. And then the clothes is like, oh, it just feels different. It's gonna last me forever. All this shit. I'm like, you spent $3,500 on a windbreaker, brother. Like, that's crazy.
Dude, that's so different, dude. Heck nah, bro. That's so different, bro. A car goes physically in ways that you cannot experience as a human being without the car.
That's fair.
There's a physics equation to it in my eyes.
That's fair.
Like it physically does something that cannot be done.
Okay.
Unless you pay for it.
No, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Well, I'm excited to see the cars that you buy and drive.
All right. I'll move on. I won't justify.
No, you're good.
Silly
I'm sure more people agree with you than me, so you're good.
So the next piece that I had was, okay. So there was this UAE cabinet meeting that happened in this building that they have, and people were like, "Whoa! Like, what is this?" It looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Looks like something from Black Mirror or whatever.
It does look trippy. It looks like, it seriously looks like something that's like Star Wars or something.
So I thought that was super, super cool. This was kind of political, I guess, but it's just kind of fascinating. So the Home Office, which is the lead UK government department for immigration, passports, crime and policing, homeland security, and protecting vulnerable people, put out this tweet yesterday saying, police time will no longer be wasted investigating legal social media posts, freeing up officers to patrol the streets and tackle real crime. By scrapping non-crime hate incidents, we are balancing the protection of vulnerable communities while respecting free speech.
But didn't they change the rule as to what a crime is? Isn't that the whole thing?
I have no idea, but the idea that you're making an announcement that you're not investigating legal social media posts
means that you used to be.
Like, what were you doing? Oh my goodness. Crazy. You know, that's crazy to me that they would come out and make that statement. Like no one checked you to say that you were going to stop investigating things that were legal. Anyways.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. We talked about the video. I think we had even showed it where the lady in Canada, the cops came to her door apparently, and she was super pissed about it, filmed it, and that stuff went mega viral.
Yeah, dude, craziness. Okay, so one of those things that happened over the past week was the White House in the United States, they had their Twitter account. They were like releasing all of this. Dang, dude, this was hilarious. I don't know why I didn't have this meme from earlier, but they were releasing like all this hype around. They were about to launch something. They did this video that they put out, and if you played it in reverse, it said big announcement coming tomorrow. And it turned out that they were launching an app, a mobile application, right? And so as they did that, they were releasing a couple of like graphics that were like blurred out. And I'm moving into the funny stuff, by the way.
Cool.
A bunch of stuff that was just blurred out, and it was I'm trying to find some of these posts, man, but they were trying to be mysterious, and people were like, they're promoting this as if they're like about to launch skins on a game, or like they're about to drop an album. Like, what kind of promoting is this? And one of the funniest things that I saw was these guys posting. I'm getting so close to finding one of these. Okay. Hold on. So this is the kind of stuff they're posting, like something new coming up. And then this, like a blurred out thing. Like, okay, like, so what is it, bro? What is this? You know, blurred out pixel art. And this dude did this hilarious thing where he was like, he responded to one of their posts by saying this. And this, and that had me cracking up, because this is just like, this is what's happening in the markets, by the way. While y'all are talking about all that, like behind this is the market is crashing. While you guys are like releasing a Fortnite skin, there's a war going on, and you know, the markets are crashing. So how about that? How about you focus on that? But it's so funny to me how just an image, right, can say all of those things, right?
That's memes, man.
Just the blurry pixels can say all of those things, right?
Yeah, well, it's the piecing together of the context around it that made that the appropriate thing to say, right? So it's basically calling out to the crowd who knows what that's for. That's like the power of memes.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. So this lady here, Jen, she said, overheard a new insult. You have a short context window. Thought that was pretty good. Pretty solid.
That's good.
So context window, when you're using AIs, right, there's a certain amount of context that you can submit at a time. And with that, the AI can process only so much at a time. And so, yeah, somebody has a short context window. Chung Fan, popular fintech sort of commentator. If your CFO wears any of these shoes, your company will survive the recession and oil at $200.
Classic shoes.
Classic. The company meeting. Oh, no, what? They got a report from the copyright holder. It was a company meeting in the next 5 years, and what it was a guy standing around a bunch of Mac Minis.
Oh, got it.
And then this one was kind of funny. So it's tax season in the United States. Greg, popular meme account, said, if you're working on your taxes this week, don't forget to report your income from illegal activities and stolen property. Because the IRS.
Is that real? That it says?
Yeah, I think so.
What? That can't be real.
Maybe not.
No way. That's awesome. But man, that person's video got taken down or photo got taken down because it was somebody else's.
Maybe that's what it was.
What did the thing say? Isn't that what the little watermark said?
Yeah, it said that the image was removed in response to a report from the copyright holder.
Got it. Because we've had people just taking our clips and just posting them and adding their own watermark. That's crazy.
That's crazy, bro. I love that you actually commented on that because that's insane.
That's what brought that hater to us. They're friends with that person.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're like, you know that memes markets isn't a real business, right? It's like, but stealing people's content is a real business.
Right. So yeah, so guys, because we had a bunch of people that were reposting our content, we put a watermark on our videos that we were distributing on like Twitter and stuff like that. And so funny enough, because I think this account has retweeted us before, if not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Either way, they take our video and they put a watermark on the video of our video. And it's like, why would you put a watermark on that? Like, you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know. That's like straight up theft. If they're reacting to it and they're speaking in front of it and they're making it something different, it was literally just ripping off our entire clip. They added subtitles.
Okay.
I guess that's what they're saying. They made it different enough. And then they added a watermark. I was like, that shit's crazy. So I replied back saying, adding a watermark on our video is absolutely insane.
Wow. So yeah, crazy stuff going on the internets, but we always love the exposure. You know, we're not saying don't expose and share our content. Please do. Please give credit.
But the unfair thing here is their page is monetized and ours isn't.
Right. That part.
So they're literally robbing us.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
Because now their page is, we're paying them money from all of our work and we're not getting any of the credit. And then another massive page reposted their post that was stealing our post again.
Right.
So Altcoin Daily, one of the biggest pages in crypto, reposted that person's post. So then we were getting double stolen from and not getting credit. And then later, after I called them out, they added us in they linked to us with a reply. It's like, no one's looking at that shit.
Yeah, for sure. So to Altcoin Daily over here, just so you guys can see how this kind of works a little bit too.
Yeah.
See if it's,
they post a shitload.
Did I just go back that or that's so confusing. What am I looking at? Oh, I'm not on the right page. I'm like, what am I looking at, dude?
Reply. That's not him? Oh no, it's a fake one, I guess.
Yeah. As I try to teach some
social media literacy.
Yeah, exactly.
I can try to find it too.
Okay, here it is.
There you go.
Okay,
right there.
Right here on this page. But you can see the videos from Diana.
Yeah.
Right. Who was the person that took the post.
So the person who stole our post is getting double the credit from one of the biggest pages in crypto.
Yeah. So anyways, just so you know how the game goes around here. This is what's going on.
And it's funny
because shout out to Altcoin.
Yeah, Altcoin Daily is a very popular show and one of the biggest pages in Twitter that talks about crypto. But it's just funny because, well, a lot of these people that do these repost pages, they are younger kids too. And it usually is their livelihood. But it's like, come on, I'm not even having a problem with you taking our content. Just give us the credit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a major thing. And obviously he sent his gang of goons after us. But also, So that page that took our stuff is claiming to be a woman. I bet everything I have, that's not a woman.
Yo, for sure.
Like
for
100%.
sure.
That's a known thing on Twitter where these people impersonate being females to try to get stuff. And people used to always reply when I would do hiring posts, and they'd have like these pictures of girls all the time pretending. And then I knew how they talk because a lot of them are from India, and Indians, they have a certain way in which they type. Like
Interesting.
I can spot an Indian's typing like this. I know Chinese people do too, because I used to do back and forth with Chinese suppliers when I was in high school, when I would mass order jerseys and stuff. And so I know exactly how they type. And there's certain words that they say where I'm like, whatever your education system is that brought you towards English, they always default towards that.
Fascinating thought.
Yeah, it's super funny. Now with AI, some of them that aren't lazy will use AI to make it not sound like they're from a certain place, but most of them don't do that.
Super interesting. You got some digital forensics going on with that.
It was also so funny when in high school, when I used to message the Chinese suppliers, I would like talk back to them like they talk to me eventually. Because I'm just like, obviously they talk like this. This will be faster if I just try to talk like they do. And I'd simplify it down to just be,
It's Chinese that actually makes sense too, because it's very structured language. It's a very like direct language.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can leave out a lot of words. And still
Dude,
get the
there was
message
no
across, I'm
personality
sure.
or extra touch to it. It was like, how many pieces you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This next one, not as funny, just interesting and real. This guy said, imagine explaining this to someone in the 1970s. This guy, Parker, said, I'm charging my doorbell with my couch.
That's crazy. That's a lot of stuff that we look around. We get so used to whatever we see enough, like a few times even. We're just like, okay, this is our new normal.
100%, man. Real quick. This one I thought was pretty funny. Upshine3 said, ATMs be having $4 withdrawal fees, talking about cover your PIN.
Cover your PIN. You the thief.
You thief.
They do get outrageous, man, with all the fees. And now I've been noticing a lot of extra stuff. Like I have an American bank account, and they just recently raised the balance that you have to hold in there to not have fees. I'm like, bro, people are getting super broke, and now you're adding in more fees to the equation. That's
because
crazy.
You're broke.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I had to add more money to my American bank account to not start getting hit with fees. It wasn't like a crazy number, but when people are really strapped for cash, that little bit makes a big difference.
For sure, man. For sure. This next piece, let me see here. So this guy, I don't know who this guy is or anything. John Rothstein. He's a college basketball commentator, I believe. And there was this event that happened. We'll dive into it in just a second, where UConn like hit a game winner. Did you see any of that, Ben?
No, I've not been following March Madness at all.
Oh my goodness. This also blew up all over Twitter, but we'll get to it. So anyways, this guy was responding to that, and he said, for the first time in 42 and a half years, I am speechless. And then he got community noted. Because he's literally said this at least once a year almost for the past 6 years. Even dating back to 2010. He's said something like this. So this was in January of this year. He said, for the first time in 41 years, I'm speechless. He said it in January 2nd this year. I haven't been speechless this much in 41 years, but I'm absolutely speechless at the officiating of this game. He said it in April of 2021. He said, for the first time in 37 years, I'm speechless. And even going back all the way back to 2010, he said, I graduated my college class most likely to have had a conversation, and I'm speechless about what's going on between Pitt and Tennessee. So anyway, so I guess the internet called him out for that one.
If they start doing a lot more of that, these platforms will probably be less waste, right?
If
where
you get community noted with that, you're saying.
Yeah. Because then it's now, he's doing that clearly because that worked for him, right? But if that's just a sheer lie, like that's not the best.
Yeah, man. I think it's hilarious that someone's been following him enough to know that that's just what he does. And yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'll show you guys what actually happened in this March Madness game, and then we'll break down this thing that's breaking the internet about the situation. It's a few days old now, so bear with me, but fascinating.
Seconds to go. Got to cut and run through the ball. And who better than this guy? Get it into Boozer. Back for Sar. Ahead. Boozer. That ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds. Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good.
What a finish.
Crazy into a game. So this guy's also a freshman at UConn. So everyone's like, this guy's a freshman and so on and so forth. But the craziest part about all of this was the coach's reaction to this guy hitting this jumper. And it
What?
and it was just this wild moment because this guy has throughout history kind of had these things that he does that are kind of like, iffy or very just like, like he's a normal person, right? At the end of the day. So anyways, here's the clip of how the coach reacted after his player hit that shot.
What a weirdo. That's crazy.
So he gets up all up in the ref's grill, yup.
My team's like that.
Exactly. And so now a lot of people were like, bro, you just risked a bunch because there was 0.3 seconds on the clock.
Oh, you could have got something for sure. Like that could have been bad news.
He could have gotten teed up easily for that. And a lot of people are like, he should have been teed up.
That's kind of crazy. You're not supposed to touch the refs.
No, that's crazy. It's super crazy. But so anyway, so this guy has actually had some moments like this in the past where he broke the internet. And it's funny because I had noticed, I definitely have seen this one before. So this one was from back in 2018 where he had this moment where people were like, me on Twitter versus on LinkedIn. So let's play this.
Super loud.
Okay.
How about that? First year coach.
I did see that.
How about that? First year coach emotional.
I did see that. That's funny.
And another moment that he's had, this guy said the Dan Hurley offering the ref his glasses and then asking him if he's tried laser or LASIK is one of the funniest things I've seen in basketball. This was I'm not
the
sure.
ball with 25 seconds on the shot clock. They will not be charged a timeout, and they will have one.
Saying he's blind.
So this dude is an absolute menace.
Troll.
Yeah. He actually came out and explained a little bit of this moment that just happened on this podcast. Let's hear him talk about it a little bit.
Like that, like, what's up? What's happening? Really, at that point in the game, we had it won, and he's such an easy guy to work with during the game that I thought he was coming over to chest bump me to celebrate the shot. Because it's not like that for me with him. Like my experience with him has been, we haven't won every game. I haven't agreed with every call, but so that was in no way was that like me and a ref that I had been at their throat the whole game. Like other points of the game where I had my arm around them, walking out of the timeout. We were cracking jokes and laughing. With that situation. Now the one at Marquette, when I was on my man's neck, screaming into his neck, that was a guy that's like coming right up to the line.
So anyway, the dude's just a character. And breaking the internet. So next one that I had, I think this is the last one I had. This one
I got one more to throw in there that I got
okay,
from
cool.
Abs just posted it.
Perfect. This one said, anyone using AI more than me is a mindless drone.
Less than me is a loser.
Anyone using AI less than me is a moron destined for the permanent underclass.
Bro, that perfectly captures what goes on Twitter every day.
100%, man.
That's so 100%. Good.
I see this one from Abs. Let me go ahead and pull it up.
Yeah, it's from Fox News, but Abs just posted it, so I figured we'd give him some love.
Cool.
Go follow Abs from Good Evening Crypto.
Yup.
Senator Tim Scott, who of course introduced the Clarity Act, I think believed, and many did, that we were going to have a resolution of this in the fall of 2025. It has gone on much longer, this argument, than many believed. But talk about that 48-hour time frame. Do you really believe that we're going to have resolution in 48 hours after all of this?
I'm very confident we're going to see progress. And the reason for that is we need to finish the job. It's true. The Genius Act passed last year was a watershed moment for crypto and for the crypto economy. For the first time, we had sensible rules in place that govern this important part of crypto. However, it's important that we provide a full market structure into which the crypto legislation from last year can fit. And that's what Clarity fundamentally provides. I do think that it's important that we finish the job, in particular on deciding which tokens, which crypto projects really should fall to the jurisdiction of the SEC on the one hand, and which really are better served by oversight over at the CFTC. I think Chairman Scott deserves a lot of credit. He has certainly been persistent, even patient, as we've worked through a lot of these issues. I think that with all the progress that we made over the last several months, it's exciting to see that we're moving towards a markup hearing in the Senate Banking Committee, hopefully as soon as in the next few weeks, and ultimately a floor vote and passage of the bill with a signature by the president to follow.
Okay.
All right. 48 hours.
Yeah, I love how he gave himself an out. He's like, we will see progress. It's like,
Right.
but the more that I think about all this stuff, like we look at the rise of Professor Jiang and how relevant he became, like, it's kind of shocking how small of a character crypto is. Like, it is truly shocking to me. Obviously, we're so close to it, but how do people not see where the puck is going? Like, either way, like if things go well or horribly, and I think it's only one of those two things, crypto is one of the main characters. So I think that yeah, it'll be super interesting to see which way it goes, and at what point do they turn on the faucet? It'll probably be X money. I don't know, but like, and that'll be wondrous for the growth of our show because like when that happens, if you go back and you guys want to study some stuff, like go look at the kind of views that were getting pulled during previous cycles. This last cycle was never really had the blow off top altcoin season, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. But previous cycles, if you go look at what these YouTubers were pulling in terms of views, and then think about how now short-term creators are literally everywhere, things can spread very, very fast if things move at all.
No, for sure, man. No doubt about it. It'll be cool, interesting to see how all this develops from here, because I honestly also feel like crypto's at a moment where like we're going to need to see something. Like we need to see something being used, or this whole thing is just, I mean, a lot of it has been a failed experiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like we said, like it's so hard to see what the objective was until we look back at it all. But it certainly seems like the blockchain at the very least will be very involved out of necessity for the world that the elites, or whatever word you want to say to it, want to create. Right? If you want a global system that you control, a blockchain is a fantastic resource to really one of the only ways to do that at scale. A lot of people think that's really what the whole Iran thing is actually about. What I've seen online is people like conspiracy theorizing, whatever, saying that it's really all about that, because that's the one spill point in terms of this global financial system is the oil, the Strait of Hormuz in Iran. So yeah, it'll be super interesting to see. But I do think that there will be a random week or period where crypto becomes very, very consistently said everywhere. Who knows when? Could be a year from now. I have no clue.
No doubt, man. Only thing I got left is to talk about previous episode and
do it up.
That's about it. So cool. Here we got last week we talked to Freddie Smith, former actor and now activist for the young people. We talked about millennials and Gen Z not necessarily having a very good chance at the moment, you know, kind of getting sold some lies. And we had some cool comments. Arl Decoy said, excellent episode. Can't wait to read the upcoming book by Freddie, and we'll follow his channel. It was also nice to hear more from Ben, who is in Canada. As a Canadian viewer myself, this is becoming my favorite channel.
I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's 2 years ago, I guess. So it's since we've been on.
I think that episode will do better long term than it did live.
Fair. Absolutely. I think it was a great conversation, a lot of fun. Shout out to Arl Decoy. Holt Aircraft. It's funny, my grandmother, born during the war in London, actually understands her grandkids' situation better than my parents.
That kind of makes sense.
True.
And then happy birthday to Keith, because it was a day after Keith's birthday. So happy birthday month or week, King. And
then Sins of Jack said, been listening to Keith for a long time, and I finally took his invitation to come to the show. Keep plugging memes and markets, but maybe in a different way, because this is good stuff and more viewers could benefit from this diversification of knowledge. And I told people, I was like, listen, this guy said this a come through. Plug.
Nice.
You know,
love that. Yeah, I just think that there is so much news going on in the world. And so until there's a very specific thing that brings them to our show, it's hard for people to sign up for something new like this. But I do think that as long as we keep having on great people, it'll just happen.
Yeah, 100%, man. It'll happen as it does.
Yeah.
Anything else that you saw from the last episode's comments?
No, I just think that it was definitely an episode worth watching. We've also had some great clips cut from our producer Asipa on our short form platform. So definitely go show that some love over on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok as well. TikTok's actually far and away our smallest audience, which is totally fine.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious, but I'm totally cool with that. TikTok is like otherworldly trash because Instagram, of course, there's the brain rot element there, but at least you are more prone to connections and DMs, right? Like I'm sure that will be a fantastic tool to get guests and things of that nature. Whereas with TikTok, it's like sheer brain rot, and I feel icky when I leave that place. But what a sale says, once you are here, you are family. Absolutely.
That's correct.
No, that's absolutely correct. But no, I think that's also why people will start to do this is that, and people have to get pushed to a point where there's a specific reason that brings them here. Maybe it'll be Bitcoin. Maybe it'll be explaining a crypto thing. I don't know what it will be. It'll be something that like they need to have. And then they'll come in, have a way better time. They don't feel like shit. They'll see all the people in the chat that are smart, kind, and actually like not pieces of poo. Do you know what I mean? Right. And then they'll be like, oh, this is just a better place. This is what the internet kind of was supposed to be in a lot of ways. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But we certainly try to get better every time. And I think that's more than a lot of people can say online.
For sure, man. It's super cool to see the people in the chat and how you guys converse. It's really, really cool. It's really cool because I join live streams, I look at stuff, and it's just very different in other places. That's all I can say. The
chat will be what grows the community because like people in here have such unique perspectives. And what I love about it is that, and I actually want you guys to do more of this too. Like if we're ever saying something that is completely wrong, feel free to correct us in the chat. Just like find a source and tell us why we're wrong. That actually makes the episode so much more valuable too. So always love when you guys participate, contribute. That's the most fun. And if you are somebody who has been a silent watcher, or if you're watching this on the replay, like come hang out. You'll enjoy the experience. And we love seeing what's said, and then it also does shape the content in real time, which is really cool because even if I don't directly call to it, it totally shapes what like where we go. You know what I'm saying? We both see it. The guest sees it sometimes too, so also be aware of that because sometimes people say some mean shit. But yeah, we were missing RD in the chat today, probably because of the different day. It's also another reason why we didn't pull the viewers we normally do on this one is because we've never streamed on a Wednesday before, or I guess until we were streaming before, like way back. But that stuff does matter.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely noticed that today. I thought it was super interesting that people have a rhythm, that you guys have a rhythm with us. And
it's very habit forming, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great question saying, are you going to put it on later? No. So great questions all across the board. You guys are very perceptive. So DC Per says, what's the age demographics of memes and markets? I can actually tell you that.
I was thinking about, is that information that we want to give like that?
Oh, just like very loose stuff. Like would you care about the age ranges?
I mean, I don't care. I'm just thinking about that out loud. I don't mind it. I'm just thinking about if that's something that, you know, but yeah, I don't care.
Okay. Well, I'll say a few numbers. These things will change. But as of today, over the last 28 days, 90% male, 10% female, or they say female. They should say women, right? Isn't that what Nicole said?
Well, I won't go there.
Okay. I don't know how any of this shit works, man. And then the actual age breakdowns are 28% 25 to 34. 35 to 34 makes up the bulk, or the second largest one, saying 25.8. And then we have 20% that is 45 to 54, and then above and below. I think we have a big opportunity, and I would love to start capturing people who are the 18 to 24 range. That only makes up 5.4% of our audience. And I think we need to do a better job of trying to speak to them. So we got to find on people who they like. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I found this to be so fascinating because I figured the conversations that we were having would be super attractive to young people.
It's the length of the content that's the problem. It's got to be somebody who they like enough to watch a podcast, who's probably never been on a podcast. Because we're so accustomed to long form content and YouTube and podcasts. Bro, my sister would like never even consider watching something that was 3 hours. Like there's no world where they would even consider it, right? I think that needs to change. I'm seeing some content start, which I think down the line, it'll become a thing where the longer the content will actually become kind of a flex of, I have the ability to watch this. I'm not brain rotted kind of deal. And I'm seeing people say that, like, and people are pitching it really funny. They're like, I saw this one post, I think I sent it to you, Keith, where the guy, his hook was, the elites hide the content in plain sight. They hide it behind like long form content. It's like, you know what I mean? So
Fascinating.
super good. But then there was something else that there's no Discord yet. But anything else that I missed?
Yeah,
what's up? Been watching since like November, December. 30-year-old gray head. Well, I'm 30-year-old too, Max. Good to see you. And we appreciate all y'all hanging out, and you guys make the show, so we appreciate you tremendously. It's also cool to have people here before there is like a crypto mainstream moment, but it's all super fun. Yeah, so that's it. DC per, like, it sucks because truthfully, this is exactly what younger people or kids need, but until they come to that decision themselves, they will push against it with all they have. That's just kind of adolescence in general. So it'll take strategy on our part, and then I also think there'll just be converging forces in terms of what happens in the world. And unfortunately, like, money is usually what does that. So if crypto starts to run, then they'll watch the longer form content because they'll think that it can make them money.
Yeah. And yeah, the TikTok thing has been fascinating because I've realized also, like you were pointing out, like, even if you get, well, first off, every time I have something that's about to do some numbers on TikTok, it gets community guidelined.
Yeah, like crazy, dude.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. But also, just people don't engage the same way. Like, even if they're watching it, they're not following, they're not really engaging with you, they're not DMing the same way. So it's very interesting to see how that platform works in general. You know, it's very transactional.
Complete transaction, very low vibration. It's a fantastic tool for us to use to create the content with because their editing tools are fantastic. That's another thing they did. They removed friction all across the board for every stakeholder involved, right? No friction for you to think, for you to give them data, no friction to create. That's what they solved. And yeah, so we use it for what it is. It's purely top of funnel, but it's also psychologically so different because Instagram does feel a little more intimate, and they've also given us way more tools to actually build a business and build relationships. Like, TikTok was always very weird about their DMs, right? Like, they just never really became the thing. Whereas Instagram kind of sees themselves as a messaging app. They've said that a lot. That's why they prioritize shares so much, because based on their feedback and data, they can statistically see people spend more time if they go to DMs through some form of their session. That's why they love shit that gets shared. That's why your stuff, Keith, right now is popping off so hard. Very timely. The war is huge. Gas is massive and highly shareable.
Yeah. I was seeing the share rate on that one that's got 4 million. Dude, it's crazy how many shares that video has. Like, think about that. Think about this, guys. That thing has 272,000 shares, right? And that's the metric that's going to get something to go viral. Because think about it. They're going to share it with one person. They might share it with 2 people. They might share it with 3 people. And if those people find it shareable, they're going to share it with their people. And that's how you get a viral post.
Oh, totally. And that will do wonders for the eventual growth of our show. It's very much a top of funnel thing too. And I thought when you would talk about the quantum threat, you would talk about the BIP 360. What are your thoughts on it? I don't know anything about it. Did you read enough about that?
I'm guessing that's like the upgrade for Bitcoin and stuff like that. I have no idea about that. I'm not going to lie to you.
Got it. Yeah. And so I already threw this up here, but it's super cool. My brothers and I enjoy the content. It makes us feel ahead. We're between the ages of 19 and 26. That's amazing. That's really what we're trying to do, because we've got a lot to provide in terms of different zones. Like, I think that I can do a better job of teaching like online entrepreneurship here. I think we should definitely do some episodes on the businesses that I've built, because I think I can make that very tactical in terms of go do this. Because, man, my family's always like, because I've been saying the same shit for like 7 years, and they're always like, Ben, it's not that simple. It actually is. Like it actually is that simple. And especially now, it's so much easier. Back then, I gave them a full blueprint, and it was that easy, but there was more resistance and fear and stigma. Those things are all pretty well gone now too, and you have tools to supplement the boring shit that I used to have to do. It is so easy to be an entrepreneur, man. Like one message I would say to people is, if you are somebody who has tried something before and you failed, please try again. It's so much easier now. Like, yes, back when I was starting my first businesses, like serious ones in college, yeah, I was that guy who had already failed a bunch of businesses, so I had learned a lot. But now you don't have to do that. There's videos for basically every problem you could think of, and AI is wildly good. So all these people are like, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Have you tried to be an entrepreneur with AI? It ain't that hard.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I totally hear you. No doubt about it. It's in a lot of ways, to be an entrepreneur, there's very few times where it's been as hard to come out of college and get a job.
Yeah.
It's probably never been easier to be an entrepreneur.
Great point.
So,
my hope for the world is that we get to a place where everyone is in some way, shape, or form an entrepreneur or working with one, and then nation states have to basically compete for people to live in their country. Right? Because if your income is not tied to any sort of physical location, meaning it can be taken everywhere, especially if it's in something that's permissionless, like let's say Bitcoin, whatever, where I have self-custody, then I could just take that wherever I go. So then in turn, it flips the whole thing on our head. Like, we are controlled by our governments. We have to do everything they say right now. But if the financial situation were to change, that whole dynamic flips. It becomes a competitive marketplace for people.
Hundo P.
That'd be sweet.
Hundo P, man.
Do you have the Spotify ready to go? Last thing, and then we'll wrap it up.
I do. So guys, this podcast is on Spotify.
It certainly is.
And I'm logged in from a weird perspective here. I'm actually logged in as the podcast. So technically right now, you won't see my music, but we've already got a bunch of songs that we're going to release to you guys when you guys come over here and give us a review on Spotify.
Yeah, man.
Look, it's saying, it's making me listen to the show first. What I'm going to do, I'm going to listen to the show a little bit.
Welcome back to Memes and Markets.
And after a few minutes or so, right, I will be able to then leave a review. And so far,
right there,
people love it. People love it.
We got 93. So we are 7 away from releasing the Memes and Markets playlist. And super unbiased here, it's going to be the playlist of the summer for sure.
The link is in the description of the video. All you got to do, 7 people. There's more than 7 people here. And there's more than 7 of you that have not given us a review on Spotify. I can almost guarantee it.
So Monkey Business says, we just got to give away McDonald's food vouchers to get the younger people in, and we'll be good to go. McDonald's is not the best food, so I definitely would not do that. But we should be selective. We've had some guests that would probably hit the younger crowd that we've reached out to. I don't know if we've heard back from people, but we'll keep trying.
For which, wait, what did you just say there?
Like younger guests to get that 18.
Yeah.
Because that's probably how we have to do it. Also, the one untapped thing there too is that a lot of these younger people haven't really done podcasts.
Very true.
So that might actually be like the ultimate meta, because they haven't been on these shows, but everyone knows their face. So the first people to do it will actually perform quite well.
Yeah, the only young people, man, are clavicular.
Yeah, but I think even the young people are starting to become a little wiser in terms of how detrimental a lot of these things are. So Eldrin says, sorry, I'm not on Spotify. We're also on Apple Podcasts if you have an iPhone and that's all you listen to. We are on there as well. And the reviews there matter a lot too. Also, Keith, Apple Podcasts just released the ability to actually natively share videos on there too. So
to natively share videos. Wow.
Yeah. So now your podcasts there are no longer just audio, which is so funny. And so last little thing, and then we'll wrap up. My professional background is that I was very involved in the world of podcasting because I had a video go viral when I was in college about how to start a podcast. And so I was very tightly connected to most of the biggest service providers within the podcasting space. And it's so funny to see the immune system of a system fight change. And for there, it was video. Like podcast purists were like anything but video. And so whenever
Interesting.
I pitched a lot of the things that are now happening to my clients, and they were like, no. And their businesses will probably go under because they were unwilling to do those things.
Fascinating, man.
It is crazy. That's why also, guys, if we are ever like that, please tell us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Facts. Whatever it is that we're just so obviously missing and not seeing.
Because we all have that. Everyone has that.
Yep.
Because they became millionaires from building the audio first stuff. So I get why they're like, who is this kid telling me to change my entire software? Like, I get it. But now a lot of them are adding in the features I told them to do 3 years ago.
Crazy stuff, man.
Don't fret not being mega crap channel. It's real nice here. Yeah, no, this is also super true. So your audience size and character makes this community a luxury space on the internet. I love that framing. Don't fret not being a mega cap channel. It's real nice here. Yeah, we really want to maintain that. And that's why when we do have a spillover where we start getting just more of everyone, we'll do things to maintain the sanctity of the chat. And we will like safeguard that at an affordable price point, so that if you first we'll just restrict it by subscribers, and then if that becomes too crazy, cheap memberships, we'll figure it out. But we'll do it with you guys. But that's all from me, Keith. Anything else you want to add?
No, actually, no, I guess not.
Cool. Well, guys and gals and whatever else, we will be live again tomorrow. So set your calendars. If you've not subscribed already, please do so. It helps us out a ton with getting guests too. And it's stupid and it's silly, but the more that the people see that number, it's just easier for us to get guests. So definitely please click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Turning on all notifications is the smart thing to do on this channel, because it will only ever be live streams. And tomorrow we have on Jeff Booth, who is one of the biggest names in Bitcoin. And I think there's a lot of people on here who probably discovered crypto pretty recently, let's say even in the last like 4 or 5 years. And the thesis for the attraction to coming into this space is very different than what it was, let's say 10 years ago or even older than that. And I think Jeff is kind of more in line with what the original goal was with this stuff. And so I think it can be a great jumping board or whatever you want to say it, for people to do different kinds of research. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that's out there that you and I actually got access to because there wasn't so much bullshit.
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Where these people are just so inundated with garbage that it becomes so hard to develop a compass for value. And I think that Jeff Booth may be somebody who helps people do that.
So well said. So well said. Like Andreas Antonopoulos, like nobody knows who that is, but he was the like OG evangelist of Bitcoin. Like he was the one who would literally go to physical rooms and like preach to people about this thing back in like the mid 2010s. And I just found some of his lectures because I was looking in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
But like, dude, that stuff is buried now.
But what about all these conspiracy theory people that are so deep in the weeds? Like I said on a bunch of different shows before, when did they find crypto? Because they're going to, man.
Yeah.
They're going to, honestly, because like, what's the final chapter in all of this stuff? Sovereign money. Right? Yeah. And what are the only few options to do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's by far the best. It's the most advanced. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Right? Not the best, but definitely the most advanced.
Definitely. Yeah. And I just think that I said it on, whose show was I on? It was Craig's, I think, where I just said that so many of these rabbit holes that people are down are just one away from Bitcoin. And I think it will. The crazy thing is with how fast these news cycles move, it doesn't even need to be a planted story for it to happen organically, right? Like organically, because the spreading mechanisms, I don't need to go bribe the New York Times or any sort of traditional establishment. I essentially just make it an easy story to tell that guarantees people get views, and it will happen without me having to do anything. That's why Trump is president, man. It's because he also talks like how he talks. I'm sure part of it's just who he is, but it's also incredibly easy to either repeat or poke holes at or in, which is the perfect delivery mechanism for a social media first president. Like I was working on my book yesterday, and there's going to be a decent chunk of it on the whole Trump phenomenon. And it's just like it does feel like this was planned for a very long time, because it's hard to think of someone more primed in position to be like this disruptive. Is it a politically correct word? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about like the Manosphere guys and how they speak in clips. They speak in hooks. And like Trump's actually the best example of that.
And he's so guided by ratings. And so when you think about that, like how we say all this is fake, it's like, dude, he even treats lives like a TV show. Do you know what I mean? He's like, we pulled some great ratings. I heard him talking to Jake Paul, I think it was. He's like, the ratings were great. That's like all he cared about. You know what I mean?
Which is also insane. Like, I don't understand that, because apparently it's like a 99% approval rate.
What
is? It's just like, it's like, that's definitely not true.
So Andrew says, if you skip to the middle of the podcast on Spotify, it lets you rate it immediately.
Oh,
Andrew coming through with the game. So that's awesome. Okay, so there you go. Slide review.
Spotify, it's so funny how these big tech companies like just don't have stuff like that figured out.
That's also why, dude, I think there's some, like, we have some ideas for stuff that Keith and I go back and forth on for businesses that we want to start down the line. Our first startup that we're launching is very soon. We have a tentative release date of middle of this month. So you guys will be hearing a lot about that very soon. But then we also have some bigger swings that we want to make. And like, whenever I see these massive tools and the errors that they have, it's like, maybe it's because of all of the shareholders and stuff like that. There's just too much bureaucracy for them to fix these things. I don't know. It's also
no telling.
You also got to think about, when you have that many users and that many shareholders, the risk of change is so high.
Oh yeah.
Right? And people get so pissed so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, well, Riverside yesterday, right? Like somebody pushed some code, bro, that
and broke some shit.
Ruined our whole day.
That's what I mean. And that's crazy, because we're paying for this service on a monthly basis, and that's not just them. It happens all the time, but it goes down and our business just can't function. Like, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So.
But that's it for me. And then Eldrin said, do you think he will be the last president, like he said? I don't think he'll be the last president.
Did he say that? Did he say that? Oh my goodness. I mean, I definitely, like, a big part of my thesis is that I don't want to find out. Like, I don't want to be around to really, like, not want to be around. I want to be having multiple passports by the time that this term is over.
So Tio says, well, he's going to win midterms, no doubt. I think there'd have to be some radical changes for that to happen.
I don't think he's going to win the midterms.
And who knows? Maybe the master plan gets executed faster. Yeah. And then maybe he becomes like, I don't know, he totally changes the entire script. But I would be so shocked, unless there's some radical change in developments, for him to win that.
But there's no shot at this point. There's no way. I mean, but what's interesting is his lying and stuff. Like, some people are definitely still riding with all of the stuff that he's saying. And I'm not certain that he's lying or whatever, but it gets to the point where you shouldn't take what he's saying at face value. You have to kind of look at he's lying. You should, by default, in some ways.
For Teo's argument, I will never say never, because I lived through the last election here in Canada. There was no world where Carney should have won that thing. Like, literally zero. We've had 10 years of liberal government, and our country has collapsed, dude. And then it's like when you're going back to the same abuser. I'm not saying the Conservatives would have been any better, but how do you get, like, beat up by the same people, and then they put out a new guy and we're like, yeah, I want more of that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who was ever voted for Trump, I mean, you see all the big influencers coming out now. They're like, no, like, he lied to us. You know, the biggest people, you know, Sean Ryan's of the world, bro. Like, he's got massive pull.
But there's some stuff that Trump could still do that like I will never talk about on the show, but like there's some stuff that he could do that I think he might try to do that would totally change the dynamic of the situation. Especially because if you've been paying attention to what the biggest figureheads have been saying for a long time, they've always said like, I hate him, but I hate this more, or these things more. And so he does have some tools that he may try to use.
Fascinating thought, man. My main thing was like, if the thing that got him in, or like they're really pushing needle to get him in, you know, the whole incident in Pennsylvania. Listen, I'm not, you know, I don't know what happened for real. But like, if he could pull something like that again.
You're saying like yeah.
If some event like that happened again, you know, something to bring people together in general, right? Because that was what that moment was. I'm not saying that they planned that, but what I am saying is that that moment brought America back together again. And under him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
So,
absolute madness. But yeah, Thomas says because in Canada, there's so many homeowners in Canada with their retirement tied up in their homes. Yeah, they've got the whole country dictated by that whole thing, but we've talked about so much. But that's Thomas, good to see you, man. Hope you're having a great day. But that's everything that that I have. And yeah, tools is just the best word that I could think of, because in politics, like it's all like a game to these people. It seems like across the board. Like, I don't think any country is it not like that. But America is definitely the biggest spectacle because they control the news cycle everywhere.
Troll.
But yeah, want to wrap it up, Keith?
Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody sticking around.
Amazing.
Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Be sure to turn on the notification bell, because guess what? We only are going to notify you when we're going live.
Fact.
And if you haven't already, and you're watching this to the end, and you have a Spotify account, or you are Spotify curious, hit that link in the description and give us a review on Spotify. We have 93. We're right there.
7 away from releasing the Memes and Markets playlist. So I am hopeful that by this time next week, we will have that released to all of y'all, but that's up to you. So I hope you go ahead and do that. But we appreciate all of you tremendously. We will see you in short order. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. We will be joined by the one, the only Jeff Booth to discuss Bitcoin and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. And that's it for me.
Make today the best day of your life, folks.
Peace, guys. Stay curious. I'm going to wrap it up right. Me out.